Live betting reaction to all of the night's action. You're tuned in to VSiN Live on Mad Dog Sports Radio. Patrick Meagher, Dustin Swedelson, VSiN Live.
Okay, VSiN Live, Mad Dog Sports Radio. As we say hi, open up a new week here, and first off, happy Father's Day. If you are a dad, you got to enjoy your Sunday. I hope so. You deserve it, and it isn't obviously a surprise every Father's Day lines up with the final round of the U.S. Open. I got to admit, I was killing the U.S. Open. I was killing the USGA heading into the weekend because you know what the USGA does, separate from the PGA. When they put together the U.S. Open, they try to punish the tour. They try to punish the players. And I got to admit, ended up being compelling theater. Dustin got his wish. He got a bunch of no-names near the top of the leaderboard. And J.J. Spawn, who's 34, he had won just once. Now, he lost out to Rory recently, so he's been playing good. Playing well. And he was out of it yesterday. But that was, that Oakmont course was fascinating. Just one bad shot, and boom, you're done. And he kept on grinding, obviously, with the long putt on 18 to win it. So J.J. Spawn is your U.S. Open champion. I got into it. I thought it was compelling. You had the weather delays. They showed on NBC. They showed the little Tiger 08 scenario with Rocco Mediate, which I remember very, very well. So that's the U.S. Open on Father's Day. And as we fast forward and say hi to open up the week, Dustin Swedelson at the Wynn there in downtown Las Vegas. The studios are beautiful, Sirius XM. He's got Jeremiah. He's got John Goulet, the whole crew. We've got Nia Hardman over in New York City. And we've got Ryan Smith, Las Vegas, running YouTube at VSiN Live. So we're busy. We've got the full team here. 888 Mad Dog 6, 888-623-3646, and we got a game. So that's where we're going to start. We got a basketball game tonight, big guys. So why don't we pull up the numbers as far as we know tonight's 9.5-ish with Oklahoma City laying it. The total has come down a little bit, 224.5, off to 227-ish, which is what we closed, I believe, in Game 4 in Indiana. We'll get into exactly where we stand as far as the series, but let's do that with the numbers first. Big guy.
Pacers, currently a big fat dog on the road. Oklahoma City's laying 9. 224 is your total. You want to go money line, plus 320 with Indiana, minus 410 with the Oklahoma City Thunder.
I got a camera angle down in the left, what she sees when things are going down. And I got to be honest, it's troubling. I mean, I'm looking right up your nostrils, brother. What is that?
There's an issue with the TV here. I only see me. I want to be able to see your face when you're talking to me. So I opened up the Zoom that only I can look at and you can look at on my laptop here. It's not optimal. It's not a great angle for me. I'm good at for a big guy, I'm good at playing my angles. The problem is when you catch that 3/4 or apparently you go below, it's not optimal.
Yeah, well, this is a reminder. I feel bad for your girlfriend because that's what she sees. I mean, she's looking up. Whoa, that was wild when I looked up and saw that. Anyway, love you. Good job. All right, looking good. I'll just keep it moving. By the way, so with that basketball, the series price has adjusted to what? If you said it, I missed it because I was transfixed.
Thunder are minus 450 favorites to win the series, plus 350 the other way with Indiana. And as far as the U.S. Open goes, I was rooting for chaos over the weekend, and I fear we will not have chaos when it comes to the NBA Finals now.
Yeah, I don't think we will. And then we've got the hockey tomorrow. We'll get into the NBA here in just a second. The hockey tomorrow, of course, with the Panthers were awesome last time out, and we're going to get the Florida Panthers laying a $150 opportunity to win the Stanley Cup back-to-back belly-to-belly against the same team in the Oilers. We can only hope that the Oilers go down to Florida and show some fight like they did a couple of games ago and force a Game 7 because the series has been riveting aside from 2 games.
Yeah, right now, tomorrow, the odds have the Florida Panthers minus 155. So this has jumped a little bit. I saw 148 not that long ago, plus 130 with Edmonton. The total is 6.5. And I think apologies to Stuart Skinner. Apparently, it doesn't matter who's in net for the Oilers. Their defense might be all-time bad. They may have the best player in the world, but they have no idea how to slow down this Florida attack.
Yeah, Knobloch hasn't said if he's going to start Pickard or obviously Skinner in Game 6. I'll say this: the Florida Panther defense gets a lot of crap. Bobrovsky only had to make 19 saves, so the defense was awesome, and that's up in Edmonton, by the way. So a bad showing from the Oilers. That is the Stanley Cup playoffs. I don't know if I mentioned, but Ohtani's going to get his first start on the bump tonight against Dustin's laughing. I mean. It is. You can go to YouTube at VSiN Live and just check out what we're seeing. Now, the big guy is he's particular. He likes him some Dustin. So if you go to his YouTube at Dustin Swedelson, what he's talking about his angles is Dustin has very much studied what his best angles are. And he's got a picture up at Dustin Swedelson where he feels like that accentuates his face the best. You would agree. What I'm looking at right now, not the case. I am looking up at the big guy's nose, and it's a rough one.
Do I need to trim any hairs?
No, I don't care. No, don't do anything weird. The first time we were in the Wynn Studios, those that forget, 40-year-old Dustin Swedelson flashed women walking by. So I'm sure.
Just the top, not the bottom, just in case there's any people who want to get me canceled. It was just my top, not the bottom.
All right, Ohtani, first start on the bump tonight against the Padres.
What are we doing?
What do you mean, what are we doing?
Have you seen his strikeout prop?
What is it?
1.5 over is juiced plus $1.30. We bet that bad boy. You mean to tell me he's not coming out hot out of the gate his first time on a mound in like 2 years?
I didn't tell you that. Was that rhetorical? Yeah.
That was rhetorical.
Yeah, I got you, buddy. I got you, brother. What's the number? What's Ohtani lane against the rival in the Friars?
Now, he's expected to just be an opener, but we don't know. Is that 1 inning? Is that 2 innings? Is that 3 potentially if he's efficient? Minus 156 on the other side. You have Dylan Cease plus $1.28. Total is 9. Cease is a weird pitcher to figure out. He's up and down. Sometimes he looks like a Cy Young guy, and sometimes he looks like a fifth starter. I never know what to make of him. And then Ohtani, I believe through 44 pitches his last simulated game. That leads me to believe he's going 2 innings. And if we get 2 innings out of him, we should get 2 strikeouts.
All right, there it is, the big guy right there in base. Speaking of baseball and Dustin Swedelson, I don't know. He really hit me with a lot of words today about what baseball's issues are. And I said, all right, go ahead, come up with a theory. Now, it's going to be tenuous, but Dustin is going to lay out. Rafael Devers was traded to the Giants, who got beat by the Dodgers again yesterday after getting their asses whipped on Saturday. So Devers from the Red Sox to the Giants. And Dustin said, you know what? This is indicative of what's wrong with baseball. So coming up later in the program, the big guy will lay out his case. It's going to be convoluted. It's going to be interesting.
There's a lot. It's like I'm a detective, and I'm drawing all the dots between the tacks and lining things up with who's to blame. And I can tell you it's mostly the Red Sox.
Yep. Well, here's what we don't have to do. We don't have to draw too many lines away from Game 4 of the NBA Finals, because we said as we left here on Friday, the winner of Game 4 is going to win the series. Indiana, by the way, if the Pacers had won Game 4, I still think you could have bet the Oklahoma City in the series. No chance that they can't win 3 in a row against this Pacers team. But there was some time, I'm guessing second quarter into the third quarter in particular, where we've been jockeying this Thunder team. We've been jockeying their defense, which is great. We've been jockeying SGA, who showed off and dropped 37 on Friday night on the Pacers, specifically in the fourth quarter. But we had been really going overboard. Now, this is a Pacers show, but we're realistic and talking about the adeptness and how great the Thunder are. We had been going on and on about their brilliance. And right around midway through the third, I started thinking to myself, I'm pretty sure the Pacers are going to win this series. I'm pretty sure the Pacers are going to win this series because they're going to win Game 4. They're going to go up 3-1. And again, you take the line and you draw it to the Larry O'Brien, and it comes from Game 4 winner. And so the Game 4 winner was the Oklahoma City Thunder with a dominant fourth quarter performance, outscoring the Pacers at home 31-17. But let's back up, because if you back up to the third quarter, Indiana was awesome. Indiana was awesome. And the same issues kept popping up for the Thunder. disjointed on offense, couldn't really figure out what they wanted to do. The Hartenstein minutes all of a sudden started to get gross. I think honestly, Jalen Williams has been great both defensively and offensively, but it just got stagnant. SGA was being forced the ball because he's a hero, and they really couldn't get anything going. And then to give the Pacers credit, the defense, which was stellar pretty much this whole, not necessarily the whole series, but they played really good defense, almost to match what people have been saying about Oklahoma City, big guy. But the defense in the third quarter was stifling, and they were doing everything right. And then they let them hang. The Thunder came out in the fourth quarter. It's like, this is super cute. This has been a fun series. I'm enjoying Indiana. I hear they have a great steakhouse with shrimp.
That's it.
That's it. I hear they do. And you know what? This is a fun 2-1 series that the Pacers are leading. Or, excuse me, 2-2 series. Hold on. It's 2-2. Hold on. See what I just did? Think about what my brain just did. The series is tied 2-2. The assumption is it's over. But the Thunder in Game 3, cute 2-1 series, that was a great third quarter. You guys have been awesome. It's been nice. And these are very nice Midwestern people that are all around here at the Fieldhouse. But you're finished. And we're going to go ahead and put our foot on your throat and just impose our will defensively and offensively. And they end up winning by like 8 or 9. That was it. Blink of an eye. The season's over. No other way to put it.
No. They can't come back from this. You had your moment. Your moment was there, and you let it slip through your fingertips if you're the Indiana Pacers. When we left the show on Friday, I was flying high. I was like, we have a series. Because even if Indiana's up 3-1, you still believe the Thunder can come back and win this thing. They have home court. It's going to be interesting. They're a team that's shown that they're mentally tough, and they can adjust to what Indiana's doing and make this thing a series. But the opposite somehow is true. In Indiana losing that game and the series being even, they officially just lost the home court advantage they stole. And now it seems like all the momentum's going back the other way, even though they outplayed the Thunder completely for most of that game. But the fourth quarter is what matters. And the fourth quarter, the Thunder outscored the Pacers 31-17. A big part of that, SGA. SGA had 2 free throw attempts in the first 44 minutes. He had 8 in the final 4. They went back. Look, it's not sexy. It's not exciting. He doesn't make the Twitter highlight reels. You're not going to talk about the big play he made the night before, but my man SGA is efficient. He gets it done. His mechanics, the way he plays the game, it's boring, but it works consistently. And him getting to the free throw line is a recipe for success for the Thunder. They went back to that. You mentioned Jalen Williams. When Jalen Williams plays great, this team is on a different level. They got that late in that game. And for Indiana, I don't know how they rebound because we've seen them do what the Thunder did to them. They're not normally on the other side of these situations, just once against the Knicks. But for the most part, they're the underdog punching up, surprising the other team. They had a chance in that series to become the favorite, and they lost it.
You're pointing at me. You're yelling at me. And speaking of rebounding, they killed the Pacers on the glass in Game 4. They imposed
Miles
themselves.
Turner stinks.
Hopefully he gets more than 4.5 boards tonight because I'm on him with the proppy. Yeah. Well, what started to happen, and again, we gave credit where credit was due. The Pacers, if this series ends in 6, has it been competitive? I think you have to say yes. Series is going to end in 6, but it has been competitive. So our friend Al in White Plains and our friend Josh Applebaum and others that have called the show and said, you guys are completely crazy. Now what? Not necessarily that we were right, because it has been more competitive than I had assumed. But please, as a Pacer backer, give me any hope, any inkling of an idea as to how the Pacers don't get beat by 30 tonight.
No. It's not. They can't. They had their chance. That's the thing. When you're the Indiana Pacers and you're in a series with a team like Oklahoma City that is so deep and tenacious defensively, you have to have everything go right. And if one little thing goes wrong, like Game 4 did, it's over. And I saw this stat floating around. 63 NBA finals have started 2-1. So Indiana was up 2-1. Of those 63, just 20% have come back to win. Let me read off some of the recent names to do it. The 22 Warriors, the 21 Bucks, the 16 Cavs, the 2015 Warriors, and the 13 Heat. Those are all like all-time NBA teams. Oklahoma City may be an all-time NBA team capable of joining them.
Hey, big guy, thank you for reading those names.
You're welcome.
It does illustrate that this Oklahoma City team could be pretty damn special. Let me put it this way. It's a 7-point win on the road in Game 4 where they killed them in the fourth quarter. What did the Thunder do? And this is for the old heads bitching about current basketball. They went 3 of 16 from 3 and won by 7 on the road.
It shouldn't be possible.
How is that possible? They took 78 shots, and just 16 were attempted threes. And they made 3. If you're a person that feels as though Steph and the 3-point shot has completely killed the NBA, get involved with Oklahoma City, brother. I mean, that's what they're not even. I mean, they've been a fine. I think they're second to bottom as far as the postseason and 3-point shooting percentage, and they were a fine 3-point shooting team in the regular season, but they haven't had to rely on it at all because they haven't had any buckets.
Yeah, I'm thinking, I don't have this bet right now, but I'm just thinking it through. As we believe the Thunder just take complete control tonight and go up, why are we not hammering SGA over his points? Feels like the time the MVP puts the team on the shoulder. They got the momentum back. They even things up. Now they take off. He's at home. It feels like 34.5. He had 35 the other night, right? He had 38 in game 1. It was 37. And then he had a couple unders in the middle. But it feels like this is where he takes control. He says, guys, I got it. I'm the MVP. It's my series. This is my moment.
No, you're right, Dustin. 35 points for SGA. Williams, 27 points. Holmgren, 14. I thought Holmgren looked super tired, but when it mattered, he got big blocks. Like, he still defends, and he's still a better option. You can't have the two bigs out there against this Indiana team that wants to go, go, go.
No.
And also something we've learned throughout the series, and now, again, it's tied at 2-2. It feels like Indiana's in a huge hole.
Well, and the only way,
But what we've learned is if you want to go pace, you want to pace it out like the Pacers do, Oklahoma City's going to be able to run with you.
Well, and remember on Friday, that game, I had the under. It ended up hitting, but it looked dead in the water. I want to say the in-game total was up to like 330-something at one point, and we go way under the 225. I think Oklahoma City coming home, the under is in play as well tonight. I think they can kind of control the pace a little bit more. And on the other side for Indiana, I mean, we've talked a lot about Tyrese Halliburton taking the next step. There's times we've been right. There's times we've been wrong. And the big complaint you and I have consistently have watching these games as they're happening is that when the Pacers fall into a hole early, it's because he's too selfless. It's because he gets everyone else involved. Halliburton needs to have his moment as well. This is a spot here where they need to rebound off that loss. Halliburton should be the guy being aggressive, getting the buckets early, mainly because outside of Siakam, I don't know who else you're really relying on at this point offensively for the Pacers.
Well, the problem is, and he was great in the game with the putback dunks and the energy, Obi Toppin needs to chill out.
He's extra.
But it's just like, again, you're not our best option. We love the effort. We love the putback dunks. But can we just stop launching threes? Although he was 2 of 5. Look, they didn't get much. I mean, he's been very good in the series, but at times he can feel like he disappears a bit. The Halliburton conversation is interesting because we anointed him, and then he just continues. Again, I'm not sure what he's supposed to do against this defense. And I'll tell you something else. This Lou Dort is the best basketball player of all time.
Dude.
Lou Dort is everything Josh Hart wishes he could be.
Ooh.
Like, if you – I would at this point put Lou Dort as, like, you want to trade – if at any point Presti decides to make a move with this Thunder team, he's an untouchable. He's right there with SGA. He is so – Halliburton can't – whether whoever's guarding them, Halliburton can't get the ball across half court.
Lou Dort looks like if he wasn't doing this, he'd be a starting strong safety in the AFC North. That's what he looks like. Like, he's physically imposing. He's an elite defender, and he's hit some shots for them when they needed it, especially early in games. He has been an unsung hero, and they've developed him too. This is a guy who came off the bench. Like, him and Isaiah Joe were like interchangeable. Lou Dort is an indispensable part of this Thunder squad.
So good.
I would trade Jalen Williams before I would ever think about trading Lou Dort.
He's great. He is great, and Williams has been great too. We have to give Williams credit because Williams was terrible in the postseason last year. Young player, tries his ass off. Great, defends. That's the one thing about you can tell when they put this team together. And I'm not discrediting what the Pacers have done. We'll get to the Pacers in a second. But you can tell when they built this team, they built a team around a certain type of personality, a certain type of hustle, a certain type of length on the outside as far as the wing players. And just, you got to bust your ass. Again, and Dort's the type of dude, he's going to defend on the perimeter, also hit a couple of big threes. Yeah, it's been, and so my question, Al, and the rest of you that have the Pacers. Again, they've been awesome. They've been a great story. If the Pacers can keep this unit together, who's beating them? We can get to the trade that was made over the weekend with Orlando and Bane. But if they keep this nucleus together, are you trusting Cleveland? Like, the Pacers have shown themselves to be a legit basketball team. They're just going up against a team. And again, if you're a Pacers believer, you're taking the 9.5 tonight, and you're like, thank God, I got a team that I think can win this series, and I'm catching 9.5. A gift. Santa's fat ass coming down the chimney right now in the middle of June, people.
Here's the problem, though. Going back to Oklahoma City matters. That would be my concern. As someone who would love Indiana to win tonight, the game they won in Oklahoma City, they were losing for basically the first 44 minutes of that game, 46 minutes of that game. It was one of the greatest comebacks in NBA Finals history to go and split those first two in OKC 1-1. I don't know if they have that magic up their sleeve, especially when that crowd's going to be amped, ready to go. And I don't know the mental toughness of this Indiana team. What I do know is Rick Carlisle. Rick Carlisle did kind of get out-coached last game, late in that game. That was concerning to me as someone who wanted the Pacers to make this a 7-game series. I'll take you back a year ago. Rick Carlisle, in the series against the Knicks, came out and talked about small market teams need to get calls too. And then he got a better whistle the following game. There's a lot of people complaining about the whistle the Thunder were getting in the last game. And then Rick Carlisle came out, met with the media over the weekend, I believe it was yesterday, and had this to say about the refs in this series.
As far as officiating, I think it's awful some of the things I've seen about the officiating, and Scott Foster in particular. I've known Scott Foster for 30 years. He's a great official. He's done a great job in these playoffs. We've had him a lot of times. The ridiculous scrutiny that's being thrown out there is terrible.
Well, Rick, we accept PayPal. We accept Zelle. We accept any type of payment because I can't even imagine calling out a ref by name. I can't imagine how much he was fined for. He's going to be fined a lot for that.
No, he said he's great. He said he doesn't understand the scrutiny he's getting. He's buttering him up.
Oh,
he's
I thought he said he was terrible in that game in particular.
No. He was saying that the criticism he's seeing on the internet, social media.
Okay, my bad.
About Scott Foster being the extender, right? The guy who extends these series, and how he's in on it with the NBA. He was saying, I can't believe what I've heard said about Scott Foster. I've known him 30 years. He's a great ref.
Oh, I didn't.
He's playing him.
Yeah. My apologies. I misconstrued that. I thought he was because the officiating felt completely drunk both ways.
Yes. Well, the one play that stood out to me, the SGA one where he clearly pushes off and travels in one shot. I was like, how do we miss that call?
SGA, by the time he was done on that play, was back in Oklahoma City.
He was on the other side. Across the time zone.
But they have adjusted to the – see, that's the thing about this. I actually think SGA, I don't think he's getting – like, he had been getting favorable whistles, and now they're on to his tricks, and they're not just giving him the cheapies. So you can't complain there. I thought the officiating was terrible on both sides, if I'm being fair.
I just thought the whistle changed late in the game. The whistle that you had for the majority of that game on Friday just wasn't consistent. That's all. When it mattered, and it's magnified because it's while the Thunder are making their comeback. It just felt like they got a little happy with the whistle.
Here's what we need to do. We need to get creative on the program today. 1 to 10, it would be a 10 if Oklahoma City didn't win tonight. I'm sorry. To the Pacers, Packers.
No, they're dead.
It would be one of the biggest shocks in my 47 years watching sports. This feels like Game 5, I believe, in New York City, where the Pacers just got the perfect performance from Halliburton in Game 4, where, remember, he had 1 billion assists and no turnovers, and they came back around, and they absolutely played about as horrifically as you could in Game 5. Laid an egg. Tonight feels similar. So I don't know if it's you. I would say shave your head, but you're already shaved.
Oh, I can't do it.
I don't know if it's you doing shtick. You feel like the Babchicky part of this program where you will do something if we put your feet to the fire. We got any fun shtick we can do if Oklahoma City were to lose tonight?
If they were to lose, I'll take nominations at Dustin Swedelson on Twitter as well. What I'm willing to sacrifice in terms of my pride, if the Thunder were to lose this game, what would I do? I did once post a naked picture of myself. Remember that on the internet? I don't think I'm allowed to do that anymore.
But that's actually something you want to do.
True.
Crazy self-esteem in some ways. Wanted to post that. You're going to be at the Win tomorrow at the SiriusXM studios.
Yes.
There's got to be something that we can have you do that embarrass you. Sorry.
It's just tough to embarrass me.
That's true. You know what? I've hit a dead end.
No. We got to find. There is something I'm willing to do. It has to probably be something I post on social media because that means it can make the rounds and I can be embarrassed by strangers. And we all know the opinions of strangers I value way more than the people who actually know me. So right. I think there's something there on social media that I'm going to have to do.
All right, so we're both in on it would be shocking tonight if Oklahoma City lost.
Yeah, I was going to ask you, would you want to lay 19.5 with the Thunder at plus 320?
Oh, a little alternative spread?
Yeah.
You can hit him up at Dustin Swedelson. Maybe some suggestions. Now, and this is probably a positive, going to definitely have to clear it with your girl. But once we get clearance, let the embarrassment begin. Now, some would say, hey, idiot, why are you putting it all on him? Why aren't you doing it? I don't know. I don't have an answer for you.
I think I have the answer. I don't want to shave my head. But the one thing I never want to do is shave my beard. We mentioned on the show I haven't been clean shaven since 2005. If the Oklahoma City Thunder lose this game, when I come back from my trip this weekend on Monday.
Nobody cares. Nobody cares then. The bit's going to be dead.
The payoff. All right. Well, I will clean shave my entire beard.
But the better thing is Dustin's guy. You know Dustin, the big guy with the girlfriend? He headed midweek to New York City for a big wedding. The payoff would be tomorrow you shave it and go to that wedding with a freaking fresh face.
No, because I don't want my girlfriend to break up with me while we're on the trip. Feels like a bad time. And she sees my whole face, she's probably going to break up with me. I've been hiding it for a long time.
Brother. Just propose.
Yeah, because that just fixes every problem.
If you propose to her, she'll still hate you, but you'll have to say yes. It's a hockey trick.
Now you're ruined. I was going to do it at the Empire State Building.
All right.
No, I'm just kidding.
First time. You'd be the first one. All right. Well, we're trying to figure it out because.
No, I'm shaving. I'm shaving my beard. That's the move.
All right. Tomorrow. If the Pacers win tonight, listen, your beard's fine. That's the point.
Yeah, that is the point. I'm not going to have to shave it. You're right. You're right.
I can't imagine how they lose tonight. So maybe you can help us. 888-MAD-DOG-6, 888-623-3646. Why at 2-2 does this series feel fait accompli? Why does it feel over? You tell us. Because the Pacers tonight, this is it. And the one thing is, if the Pacers lose tonight, they're not forcing a Game 7. We're going back to Indy, and the field house is going to turn into a Thunder house.
No, they are going to feel like they are drowning in their own building, and they're not going to be able to get out because those are killers in those OKC jerseys. They will snap their necks.
Fourth quarter is all you had to see on Friday night. It's like my dad used to say, Happy Father's Day to my pops. He used to say, this is back in the day. He used to say, all you need to do with an NBA game, turn on the fourth quarter. And that was it. Indiana was awesome in that game 4. And then the fourth quarter was just like, this has been fun. SGA was like, that was cute. I enjoyed that. This has been a fun series. We're going to go ahead and finish it now. And they did that Friday night. You tell us how I was going to call them Indianapolis, but how Indiana, the Pacers, can turn it around. 888-623-3646, and who you betting tonight? It's VSiN Live, Mad Dog Sports Radio.
This is VSiN Live on Mad Dog Sports Radio with Patrick Meagher and Dustin Swedelson. This is VSiN Live on Mad Dog Sports Radio with Patrick Meagher and Dustin Swedelson.
Okay, VSiN is on SiriusXM Channel 158. Get 24/7 sports betting coverage on Channel 158 and on the SiriusXM app. Exclusive offer for SiriusXM listeners. Right now, you can get a full VSiN Pro access for a month for $158. It's that cheap. Get you in the door. Think you're going to want to stay. A daily email with all the best bets, exclusive betting splits, which we're going to go over for tonight's game, DraftKings and Circus Sports. Plus, our NFL betting guide drops in July. It's a great guide. VSiN.com/subscribe. Promo code SIRIUS, $1.58. VSiN, the Sports Betting Network. This is VSiN Live on Mad Dog Sports Radio. Great to have you with us at VSiN Live on YouTube, 888-623-3646. Father's Day. You know, guys are just, I'll just say this, props to the dudes, just guys being guys, dudes being dudes. Pretty low key on Father's Day. I don't know if you ended up calling your dad, but I did call my pops. My man was just dialed in to the U.S. Open. I said, how's your Father's Day? Is it special? He's just like, what are you talking about, brother? He's like, I'm watching the golf. It's the same script every year when you call me on this Sunday. You ask me what I'm doing for Father's Day, and I'm saying I'm watching the golf. Props to dudes for being low maintenance is my point.
Yeah, what does a guy want on Father's Day? They want to chill, they want to watch sports, and they probably want to eat some steak. That's about where it ends. Like, yeah. What more do you need? What more do you really need?
Yeah. You know, maybe a cocktail.
That's fair.
This is what's great about marriage is you ask 9 out of 10 dudes and families, what do you want on Father's Day? Always a heartening note to be left alone.
Just let me have some silence.
It's like the concept of building a man cave. Wait, so you got a little portion below ground where you go make a little cave so you can escape? Yeah, I can't wait to get married. Sounds awesome.
And if your toilet water, if the pipes break, guess what? Your man cave drowns.
Yeah, pretty much. But if a tornado comes, you're the safest person in the crib.
Great. All those extra bottles of whiskey will do you well when the tornado's wiping out your house.
So we don't really have a route, and the big guy's going to shave his face tomorrow if the Pacers were to win tonight. His beard is safe. His relationship is safe. This feels ominous for the Pacers after dropping that. You know what I'll call it? I'll say dropping the fourth quarter of Game 4 because they were awesome. They were
amazing.
Killing them. Every time I looked up, they were up 6, up 7. The Pacers honestly felt like they were up double digits that whole entire game until the fourth quarter, where over the final 5 minutes, SGA 15 points on him, and it was over. He took over when it mattered.
Yeah, but this is why all the analytics nerds, like, this is where they got to stay out of sports, because you can watch a game and one team can dominate for the majority, but they don't win because there's some things you can't explain. There's human nature. And that brings me to the momentum. The momentum carryover from blowing that game, the gap of being up 3-1 or even 2-2 as an underdog in an NBA Finals might as well be the Grand Canyon. You were this close to having a 2-game wiggle room against the best team in the NBA, and instead you let them back in it. I can't emphasize enough how much blowing Game 4 tilted the entire series. We had a chance. We were going 7. It has 0 chance now.
I'm trying to think who played in the finals last year. Oh, Celtics, Mavs.
Yep.
I had no intrigue.
No.
None. I will say this about the hockey and basketball this year. I've been completely entertained and riveted, even with the bad games. I've been into the storylines. I've been into the 4 teams. We've been delivered with very good final and finals on the ice and the wood. That's my opinion.
Yeah, you know why? Because this year there was very clearly the best teams, the teams that were the most talented, but it wasn't like an overwhelming thing where Boston a year ago in the NBA was so much better than everyone else. It was boring. It was all boring because you didn't think anyone could hang with them. This year, Oklahoma City's the best team, but we saw they have some small issues along the way. They're making human errors, and because of that, we're getting quality games.
They're showing a video right now, and this is what it's like. Right before tonight's game, and as he was going to warm up, SGA. Now think about what I'm about to tell you. Gilgeous-Alexander signed autographs for over 6 minutes straight.
Oh, you saw how many, right? The count?
But if you think about, hey, that's his job. He makes millions. Think about 6 minutes. It's a long time if you think about what you're doing is literally just grabbing pieces of paper and memorabilia and sign it. That dude is awesome.
The official count, I saw someone doing a fast-forwarded video. He signed 429 autographs in 6 minutes. What I'd say is a little bit concerned doing that before the game with that shot. So I don't love that for him, but at the same time, he's built different, and that's good karma. He was signing everything every kid threw in front of him there.
And how about some positivity for Major League Baseball, where MLB Communications came out with this a few hours ago. Major League Baseball averaged 39,255 fans on Father's Day, making it the highest average for any Sunday since Father's Day in 2008. Overall, Major League Baseball drew over 1.6 million fans this weekend, marking the second largest 45-game weekend total in the last 17 seasons. So when we do get to the baseball's dead conversation, that could buoy the people that say, well, you're premature, because people still like to go to the park. They still like to make it a family outing. It's just nationally, maybe it's not registering like it does locally.
Yeah, I'd imagine also night in and night out in those local markets, baseball rates pretty high of the things people are watching. Because, I mean, if you're turning on regular TV, right, and you're willing to watch whatever's live, odds are you're watching a sporting event versus one of the cop or hospital shows on one of the network TVs. There are more cop and hospital shows going. They're the only things that seem to work on like channels 2 through 7.
NYPD Blue still out there?
Probably. Or some version of it, some ripoff of it.
That's pretty good for baseball. They had a big Father's Day. You like to see it. However, tonight, 9.5, a couple of props on the game tonight. Caruso, who went mad in Game 4, had 20 points. I think his point prop is set at 10.5. I do like Caruso to go over that. And then I mentioned I had your boy with the rebounds, 4.5. And why is the big for the Pacers now slipping my mind?
Miles Turner.
Who you could tell some of those threes he was shooting in Game 4, he was reticent, and he just ended up airballing a few of them.
Well, he stopped. He just stopped shooting him. He started handing them off to whoever was near him because he was in his own head. I'm with you on Caruso, but I went 17.5 PRA. I just think he's going to contribute in a bunch of different ways. He may drop over 17.5 with just the points alone, but he helps everywhere across the board. So I'm with you there. And then I'm on Turner under his combo. So his rebounds involved there, but it's more about the points production for me. I went under 20.5. I think that's a guy who's scared to shoot. The three's not falling. That's the big part about that. And then I went McConnell. McConnell over 13.5 PRA because on the road, he's one of those few guys I trust for Indiana off the bench to do extra work.
There you go. When we return, it does feel like the off-the-court conversation always dominates even the NBA Finals. And Kevin Durant has co-opted basketball, right? Like, he has completely overshadowed what's happening on people. He's 37 years old. But we do have the market for Durant. Where will Durant play next? It does seem that there's 3 teams he has agreed to extend with. We'll give you those 3 teams as well. Where do you think Durant fits best? 888-623-3646. VSiN Live, Mad Dog Sports Radio.
This is VSiN Live on Mad Dog Sports Radio with Patrick Meagher and Dustin Swedelson. covering the spread all night long. This is VSiN Live on Mad Dog Sports Radio. Here's Patrick Meagher and Dustin Swedelson.
Okay, 2025 NBA Finals full swing with the series now tied up at 2s as the action shifts back tonight, Oklahoma City Game 5. Right now, here a special edition of NBA Today live from Paycom Center, bringing you exclusive on-site interviews leading up to tip-off, then 8:30 here, Game 5. Pacers call is going to be on ESPN Extra Channel 81, the Thunder broadcast on NBA Radio Channel 86, national feed on Channel 80. It's also streaming on the SiriusXM app. Got you back here on the day after Father's Day. Happy Father's Day. VSiN Live, Mad Dog Sports Radio. I'm Patrick Meagher, the big guy, Dustin Swedelson. So Kevin Durant is in the news. Kevin Durant's going to be moving on, obviously, from Phoenix. I think it's going to be – this does feel like it has to be a special spot because you know what Durant is at this point. Durant, by the way, is 19 seasons in, and he's probably still 85% of his peak. So it's not like he's not still a tremendous basketball player. It just goes to show how well-trained the current day in modernity, like these athletes are just insane, how he can just be this prolific. And he's had major injuries, Kevin Durant. But he's going to be moving on, and we do have the odds for the next team to land. Now, the last time we checked, it was like minus 160 to San Antonio. What are we sitting at right now?
Well, the Spurs have dropped a bunch. They're the third shot on the board. We'll get to them in a second. Currently, your favorite in the market, and it's fascinating that it's them, is the Miami Heat at 2-1, the Houston Rockets plus 250, the Spurs at 3-1, the Timberwolves at plus 350, the Raptors at 12-1, the Suns 20-1, and the Grizzlies at 20-1, and the Knicks at 30-1. And a lot of those teams have been in the news today regarding whether or not Kevin Durant joining them is likely.
Why? You said they've been in the news. What do you mean?
Well, there's a few. Let me go over a few reports. One, Mark Spears of ESPN went on ESPN and said KD wanted to go to the Knicks. He wanted to go there. The Knicks have no interest in bringing him in. So that's one team.
Okay, he go.
The next one is, I'm told, this is Shams Charania, I'm told Kevin Durant has no desire to be in Minnesota with the Timberwolves. That would be another one, briefly favored earlier today. And then I'm also seeing a couple reports about the Miami Heat, where John Gambo, I can't remember his last name, but he does a good job covering the Suns. He's the main insider in Phoenix. He says the Suns are unlikely to accept the Heat's current offers for Kevin Durant, and there are better offers out there, is what he said.
The Durant thing is fascinating. I don't know how the Heat would put together a package to get Durant.
Yeah, and they don't want to include Khalil Ware, the only player I would think about. But who wants to build around a center?
The teams that I see in 888-623-3646, the teams I see, there's two in particular I think Durant works with. One is Minnesota.
Yes.
Because I actually think now Minnesota could also use, Mike Conley's not going to cut it at this point as a ball handler. So they could obviously use somebody to handle the basketball, take it out of Anthony Edwards' hands so much. But I don't think Durant as a scorer would take away from what Anthony Edwards is trying to accomplish. I think he adds I think he would add a very special element because he's going to be your number two not your go-to. And then I think San Antonio is interesting. San Antonio is interesting because they're going to get Harper with the second overall pick. They're going to, obviously they have Fox. Obviously they have Wemby. But if you bring in the veteran presence, I don't think he gets in Wemby's way. And, you could catch lightning in a bottle with a young team with a mixture of his scoring. I think that kind of equals something interesting. Maybe Houston as well.
Yeah.
Houston needs to shake it up because they just don't have, until Amen Thompson turns into that guy, they just don't have the guy. Jalen Green is not the answer. But those would be my two, Minnesota and San Antonio.
My two are Minnesota and Houston. I think the Houston one is massive because a 37-year-old Kevin Durant would then go to a team that has a lot of guys who do the dirty work. And his only job there is score. They have tons of good defenders, Dylan Brooks, Fred VanVleet. I don't know how they'd make the contracts work. The anticipation would be Jalen Green gets sent to Phoenix in the deal. And the report I saw earlier today is that Phoenix is already seeing what the market is for Jalen Green if they were to acquire him. So they would spin him off for other pieces as well. I think Houston makes a lot of sense because the Rockets are desperate for a vet. They're desperate for offense. And everyone else does all those little things. Durant just has to do one thing. It's the thing he does better than just about anyone of his era, which is get buckets. Then the other one's Minnesota. Minnesota becomes, to me, the best team that can challenge Oklahoma City in the West if they have Kevin Durant, because they can spread the floor. And the issues Anthony Edwards ran into against the Thunder in the Western Conference Final, they go out the window. Because now with Ant Edwards and Kevin Durant on either ends of the floor, you can open up all sorts of opportunities for shots. I think Durant in Minnesota, it changes how we view the Western Conference the most.
I don't hate Houston, who I didn't put in, but you did. I would agree with you. I'm just taking a look.
What's the cost, though? What's the cost? Because he's 37.
I don't think it's as prohibitive. I don't think it's as much as you think.
I think it's like honestly. 1 first in a player. I think it's a first rounder in a player. That's it.
Durant turns 37 in September, so he's going to be playing a full season at 37. Last year, let's take a look. With the Suns, he played 62 games, averaging over 36 minutes a game, averaging 26.6 on 52.7 from the field, 6 rebounds, 4.2 assists. So he continues to roll. Like that's not a crazy drop off at all.
He shot 43% from 3. I mean, that gets it done in any lineup. That changes how an entire offense works from his existence. And this is the greatest compliment I can give Kevin Durant. I don't know if there's a better player that if whatever you drew up isn't working and there's like 5 seconds on the shot clock, I don't know if there's a player I want to give the ball to with 5 seconds to just figure out how to create an angle for a shot than Kevin Durant that I've seen with my eyeballs.
Yeah, I think he could be a benefit. He has to at this point in his career, he probably understands wherever he goes, Minnesota, San Antonio, he doesn't have to be the guy. He can be the guy, like you said, in a big moment, but he doesn't have to for 82 regular season. He doesn't have to carry him. Wemby can do that. Anthony Edwards can do that. And then over the weekend, a big trade was made. 4 first-rounders, and Orlando got out from Kentavious Caldwell-Pope's contract, and they traded for Desmond Bane from Memphis. Bane's just 26 years old. He averaged 19.2 points, 6 boards, and 5.3 assists. I freaking love the player. A big wing that is not going to get bodied. Every time I watch, I'd rather have Bane than Ja. Every time I watch Memphis, I'm like, yeah, maybe it's the short alligator arms that he's throwing at you, but every time I watch Memphis, I'm like, it's Memphis? So we're not really talking about the Grizzlies, but he just feels completely underrated and overlooked.
Hey, from a player prop perspective, every time Ja was out over the last 2 years, and there was a lot of them for a lot of reasons, I bet on Desmond Bane. And Desmond Bane was very good to my bank account. He can create his own shot, shoots like 40% from the 3. They desperately need that on the Magic, who they don't have guys who can create offense. I love the combination of running sets with him and Banchero and Wagner, who was awesome before he got hurt. I am the Magic. They may have overpaid, but if you identify a guy that fills a need the way Bane fills a need for Orlando, you go get that guy. And they're getting a 26-year-old who's experienced, who's been developed in Memphis, that I think will make an immediate impact in the East. Their odds shortened up a ton, from like 40-1 down to like 25-1.
I agree. Their issue has been offense, and he can give you offense. If you need a go-to guy, Banchero and Bane's a nice 1-2 punch along with Wagner. Where did Bane go to college?
Ooh, TCU, I want to say.
Is it TCU? He's become a very good pro. Yes, in this day and age, you're going to overpay C. Bridges. They may have overpaid. You get your player, and Orlando got Bane. We've got Brad Botkin, CBS Sports, talking NBA Finals next. VSiN Live, Mad Dog Sports Radio.
Covering the spread all night long. This is VSiN Live on Mad Dog Sports Radio. Now back to VSiN Live on Mad Dog Sports Radio with Patrick Meagher and Dustin Swedelson.
Okay, check out the newsletter, vsin.com/newsletter. No obligations. It's free. You just enter your email address, and every morning it's going to be there for you when you wake up. Go to vsin.com/newsletter. All right, we're just about a half hour away from Game 5. Thunder hosting the Pacers. Series tied up at 2s. It's 9.5 tonight with the Thunder laying it. And to discuss basketball, our buddy Brad Botkin, CBS Sports NBA writer, does a great job at Brad Botkin CBS. He's been great for us during this postseason run, which is interminable. It's a 2-month run, as we say hi to our buddy Brad. Before we get to the basketball, right before you came on, we were talking about the Desmond Bane trade. He is sent to Orlando, coming back the other way. Caldwell Pope and 4 first-rounders. Love to hear your reaction.
Oh, man, the NBA just doesn't know how to chill, does it? I mean, that this thing comes out of nowhere. My first reaction is this is an Eastern Conference move. Like I think everybody is watching Indiana right now, and this sounds like a slight on Indiana, but if the Pacers can make it a 66-1 underdogs to start the season, 80-1 to start the playoffs, all these teams can believe that they're within grasp. And so it makes you more aggressive. I don't think if the Magic are in the Western Conference, there's any way they can convince themselves that they can run the gauntlet with adding Desmond Bane. But he makes sense from a fit standpoint. They desperately need offense. I think that it's a reach because they still need like a true prime creator. They have Wagner and Banchero who are capable of doing it and in many ways match up problems because they can initiate offense at their size. But I think tasking Bane with being like a primary creator, which Jalen Suggs is not, I think is a bit like thinking that Mikal Bridges in Brooklyn could be kind of a really big, like give the ball to him and let him run your offense. So if Banchero and Wagner still do a lot of this stuff with the creation and Bane is a 41% shooter, he can create, he can put the ball on the floor probably better as a secondary creator. But I think ultimately it's just an Eastern Conference move. It seems this is their Mikal Bridges move. In a vacuum, there's no way Desmond Bane is worth 4 picks and 2 rotation players. No way. There's no way Mikal Bridges is worth 5 picks. Okay, but in the context of their specific teams, the way that the Knicks wanted to play, the way that they specifically wanted to match up against the Celtics with switchable wings and space the floor, and the same way with Orlando. This is not a move that is worth this much in terms of what they gave up in a vacuum market, but specific to what they think. They see a wide open Eastern Conference. They see an elite defense that just needs some offensive punch to be an average offensive team with that defense. And I think you can talk yourself into some things because of what the Pacers are doing right now.
Yeah, I agree. I like the way you framed it too with the value, but the player fits an absolute need for them to take the next step. And then on the other side for Memphis, what does this mean for the Grizzlies? Because I've seen conflicting rumors out there on the internet where it's some people believe maybe Jaren Jackson Jr. is available, maybe a teardown is coming, and then others saying this means they're committed to Jaren Jackson Jr. What's this mean next move now for Memphis?
Yeah, I don't know. I quit trying to predict the NBA quite a while ago. I mean, I could see it both ways. They're having Windhorst reported that that tearing it down is not really in their thoughts, but I mean that could just be leverage. I don't know. I think they were smart. Let's say they keep the team together and they did this to trim salary, even though they actually added salary with this deal. But let's say they're able to get off some salary and trade Conchar and all these things, and offer Jaren Jackson. They can't offer him a max. He didn't make All NBA. He has to make incremental raises off of what his salary was last year, and he's on a clearance rack contract right now. So that's working against them. But if they can get him to sign for the stability and to lock in the rate this year, I think it was smart to move off the big 3 blueprint. It's just not working anymore anywhere. And so the Grizzlies had a lot of depth. Taylor Jenkins was maybe overplaying some of the depth, but I look at this series that's happening right now between Oklahoma City and Indiana. And I think it's making people ask themselves the question of depth in volume or depth in like power depth. And you can have 10, 11 players and say you're deep, but how many do you really trust to make impact in a late playoff series? And I think we're seeing that with a difference right now. OKC, everybody said how deep they are. They're so deep, so deep, so deep. There's really only 8 guys that they really, really are going to come in and, they have Kenrick Williams and Aaron Wiggins. They have, a lot of good players, so they have a depth and volume. But I think that the Grizzlies are looking at this like we actually need to add real depth. So they get a 2-for-1, basically. They get rotational players in Anthony and Kentavious Caldwell-Pope, who's basically a poor man's Bane. And then they get themselves a whole bunch of draft picks that can either be really important, cheap labor in the second apron era, or they can be used for subsequent moves to bring in more depth. So I thought it was smart from that standpoint. They get off the top heavy roster and they give themselves assets to go out and add a truly deep team with 8, 9 guys that you can really trust in a late playoff series, because I think we're seeing how important that is.
Yeah, good point about Anthony, which I neglected to mention. Talking to Brad Botkin, CBS Sports. So you mentioned the series. So just setting it up, it's 9.5 tonight, Oklahoma City. It felt, Brad, for 3 quarters on Friday night that the Pacers legitimately could win the series, and then all of a sudden the Thunder happened in quarter 4. What did you take away from Game 4?
Gut punch for the Pacers. You're right. It was the first time that it really felt like that this wasn't just like fun and games. Like they're going to win this game and go up 3-1, and they've got it. They've got it. And then in the blink of an eye, they go from 3-1. It's only happened one time in history, to right back to like massive underdogs, And so can they answer that psychologically? I've obviously been proved wrong in this series. The Pacers are super game, super good. But I'm still waiting on OKC to have. They've won by 20 points in 2 games in each of their series up to this point. And I'm still just waiting for this one defensive onslaught and a game where they aren't ice cold from 3 to match up in the same night and they blow the doors off. And I'm betting it again tonight. I've got the number. I've got OKC, and I just think with the home crowd and the momentum behind them of having stolen that Game 4 to get back to 2-2, it's difficult for me to imagine, based on all of the experience I have watching the NBA, which, to be fair, we've almost had to throw out the window during these playoffs. But everything I've seen when an underdog team blows a chance, they didn't blow it. I hate saying that. I hate saying every time a team loses a lead that they blew it. Oklahoma City won that game. They dug in defensively. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander flipped the MVP switch, scored 15 in their last 16. They won that game. But Pacers still sort of saw it slip through their fingers. And everything that I've ever seen in the NBA, you've got this underdog team, and to come back and do that again on the road, psychologically, it seems very difficult. But I bet it. I took the Thunder. I'll tell you what else I took, though, is the value right now are these MVP odds, because this series is 2-2, and you can get Halliburton at over 8-1. And you can get Siakam at over 8-1. This is a 2-2 series. That's a line that should be in like a 1-3 series. If the Pacers win it, Halliburton's going to win MVP. He either him or Siakam. You can hedge it both ways. But 8-1 value on a team that's 2-2 is, and SGA is minus 400. The gap is just, I can't understand how. I took both of those. So to me, I'm thinking that the Thunder are going to win, but the value is still way on the Pacers, but from both a series
totally
and the MVP.
No, totally, Brad. I mean, those are both way more realistic options than the Alex Caruso 200-1 I was trying to talk myself into betting earlier today.
Oh, there's no, SGA is you forget about it. Nobody's winning except SGA if they win. But like Indiana's 2-2. How are you getting 8-1?
It doesn't feel like they're 2-2 after Game 4, though. That's the point. It doesn't feel like it.
It doesn't, and that's why you're getting that number. But I took it.
What's the recipe look like tonight? Look, I bet my beard, Brad. I bet that I would shave my beard if the Thunder lose this game. That's how confident I am in Oklahoma City. And you know I was late to coming around on OKC, but I will shave this. I haven't been clean shaven since 2005. So we're talking 20 years.
I'm with you. I haven't either.
What's the recipe if I'm wrong? I can't create the Miles Turner looks lost. I don't always trust Siakam. Halliburton doesn't ever come out aggressive in these games and call his own number. So what's my fear? TJ McConnell, Andrew Nembhard go off, Naismith, who's disappeared into the bushes like Homer Simpson in that meme. Like, what is the recipe for Indiana to win this game?
Geez, a lot of good points. Tough crowd. tough crowd on the
yeah.
2-2 team in the finals. But I hear you. It's like there's just a sum of their parts aspect to the Pacers that it's very difficult to gauge these traditional, oh, this guy needs to come out. And like every time the Timberwolves play, like Edwards got to score 35 and they got to get a big game from somebody else, McDaniels or whoever. Like, you don't know exactly where it's going to come from with the Pacers, which I think we need to start talking about that being an advantage, as opposed to it's difficult when people ask questions that you just asked, who needs to step up, what needs to happen. The fact that you don't know where it's coming from, I think, is their greatest strength right now. I do trust Siakam. He's at this point, I feel very good when he's got a matchup in his favor and he's backing down. I feel good about Halliburton. You're right. He's not always as aggressive as I think he should be to come out of the gate. But it's like he's so flammable that at any point in a game, he can kind of get a couple threes in a row. And even if he's only got 15, 16 points at the end of the night, he can ignite the team for a couple of stretches that then carries over. And I just think that's the way the Pacers get this done, is different guys in different stretches. I mean, Halliburton's under like a 22, 23 usage rate. He's just not a guy that you give the ball to like these 1A players and say, take us home. And that can feel uncomfortable if we're trying to give ourselves explanations as to how the Pacers are doing it. It really is a collective thing that TJ McConnell comes in and he wins you 7 minutes, and Pascal Siakam gets good matchups on switches for 5 minutes and he scores 10 points in a stretch. And then Halliburton hits 4 threes in a 6-minute stretch. And you look up at the end of the game and none of them have more than 22, but like each guy was responsible for like a 6 or 7 minute stretch that they won. And that's the best I can understand it.
It is the defense, and Halliburton has to work his ass off. I mean, he had some really, really tough buckets. He's had tough buckets the whole series. But before you came on, Brad, we were jockeying Lou Dort, and maybe I just don't watch enough Oklahoma City, but he stands out as somebody that is just like indispensable. I mean, he'll hit a big three. The defense is incredible. Their wing defense is just awesome.
It is. And Halliburton, late in that game, was it game 4 or game 3? He actually started like he was crossing people over and he was getting to the rim and he was finishing hard buckets. I think it was last game.
Yeah.
And you're right. He doesn't usually do that. He doesn't square up a one-on-one matchup, get it, start shaking and go finish through contact very often. And that was like very good to see. I don't think that's something. And again, that was a stretch. And I think that's how Halliburton does it. Like he gets cooking for like 5 minutes here and he's not like a go-to scorer all game. And so that can feel untraditional. But then like, again, for another 7 minutes, it's Siakam. For McConnell comes in and changes the game for 6 minutes. Nembhard gets hot for 3 minutes. I just think they add up these 5-minute stretches where guys are big for those minutes, but no one guy is big for 40 minutes. And it's a different blueprint. It's difficult to hone in on who you're going to defend and how you're going to defend them. I think they're the best team in the league at pushing the ball ahead with the pass. They really get up and get into their actions quickly. And again, that's a collective thing. That's not the ball has to stay in Halliburton's hands. He gets rid of it. Carlisle even talked about that after game 4. He thought that was a lot of the problem down the stretch is they stopped pushing the ball ahead. If you don't push it ahead, then OKC can get back, and now you're dealing with those wings that you were just talking about in a set position. So, getting back to, kind of how are they going to do this tonight? if I was watching one thing, I'd be watching Indiana's ability to clear the boards when they do get stops and push the ball ahead. If they're clearing defensive rebounds and immediately passing ahead, that's the thing that you can pencil in that Indiana does. I don't know who's going to actually score the bucket. I don't know who's going to get the assist, but if they can clear the board and push immediately, then they're in good position. That's the one thing I'll watch for tonight.
Hey, I like the positive things you're saying about Siakam. I bet him 15-1 to be the scoring leader in the game. I also bet Holmgren at 22-1, just taking some long shots. Brad, it's felt like up until that fourth quarter, Carlisle had coached circles around Mark Dagnall. I thought Carlisle was dialing up things that Oklahoma City wasn't ready for, and then they melt down the way they do Friday. And I'm sure you saw it over the weekend. Carlisle had a quote about the criticizing of the refs and mentioned Scott Foster by name, how he's known him for 30 years and he's a great ref and he respects him. Am I making too much about those comments, trying to maybe, butter up the refs a little bit here in this spot?
I don't know. I mean, like, we're all human, like, get on the good side. It's hard for me to believe that anything that an NBA coach in the NBA finals gets up on the press table and talks about during the finals is like just random. Seems like everything has to have some calculation to it. About the coaching thing, there's some things that are pretty obvious sometimes where I think any of us who are sitting back watching can say, like, man, that's a sketchy move. But over the years, I've gotten pretty hesitant to say this guy's coaching circles around this guy, because I've been proven wrong so many times where I think, like, they should have done this or they should have played like this. And then they'll come into their post-game press conference and they'll explain the exact thing that I thought and why they didn't do it. And it's like, man, these guys know what they're doing. I don't know that anybody's sitting here like, I don't think that Dagnall's looking like, what do I do? I think that maybe you could argue he should be playing the double bigs more, or there's all kinds of talking points. But I really have hesitated over the last few years to say, man, this guy's getting his ass kicked from a coaching standpoint, because there's so many nuances and three moves ahead that they're thinking of why they're doing something or not doing something. And I've been proven wrong too many times on that. I will simply say Carlisle is clearly an incredible coach. Like, no question about it. He puts guys in position to be their best. If you look at, like, he coached Luka Doncic and he ran an offense where you put the ball in one guy's hand and you just, everything works off that. Then he gets Tyrese Halliburton and recognizes this is a different kind of player, runs him at a 23 usage rate and turns into a ball and player movement offense where it's not centered on one guy. Okay, they're a bad defensive team last year. All of a sudden, they're like a legit defensive team. One of the major talking points that I think we should be having in these playoffs is, the number one defense has not won a title, the number one regular season defense, since the Warriors in 2015. The Thunder would be the first to do it since then. So does that mean that defense isn't as important? No. What I'm noticing is that it's a very crucial element to have the defense that has the attributes to get better in a short stint. Like, I watched it happen with OKC in 2016, where, like, there weren't that good of a defense by the numbers in the regular season, but suddenly they click and they have all this length. They have the attributes that when the effort kicks in, because it's go time, it's postseason, they become entirely different. And this Pacers team, the Nuggets did it when they won their title. Not a great defensive team, but they turned into, over of 16 games, a different defensive team in the playoffs. And I think that's one thing to watch, instead of throughout the regular season, who's the top rated defense, who Indiana's whatever they are, 14th, that's not good enough. Do they have the attributes to play way above their regular season ranking for a 2-month period? Do they have the kind of switchability and rim protection and ball pressure and all these things that when it's focused and they can put all their defensive focus on one team for one series, can they be better than they were in an 82-game schedule where they're spread thin and they're not trying as hard and they're not scouting their opponents the same way? That's the thing to look for, is the team that has the most capacity defensively to play above their regular season ranking, because the Pacers are doing that right now.
Also, Brad, they attempted 16 threes and made just 3 of them and won by 7 on the road. I'm talking about the Thunder. Like, on a national program like this, if you start talking NBA, people want to call up and bitch about what's wrong with the league. I mean, if you think about the Celtics attempted like 63 three-pointers against the Thunder back in March. So, like, people don't like just the constant reliance on three. The Thunder team is completely the opposite. I mean, they don't need threes to beat you. They're going to beat you with defense and just athleticism, and it's just a completely different team, to your point about the defense, than anybody else right now.
Yeah, now they were great all year, so we knew they were great, but to Indiana's defense is the one that's made the jump. But yes, for OKC, it's actually pretty simple. They can beat you. The reason they're so good is they can beat you on a bad shooting night. Most teams have to shoot good to beat you. Their defense is so good, and SGA is so reliable at getting to the mid-range and getting to the foul line that they don't need their threes to be going. When their threes are going is when they blow you out, and that's what we're waiting on. Their defense is going to be there. Their individual creation with Jalen Williams and SGA in the mid-range is going to be there. If they make threes, they're going to blow you out. And I keep waiting for one of those games to happen. I bet on it tonight. When they make shots, forget about it, because they're too good at the other stuff. But if they don't, they're still good enough to make you grind out a win against them. But you can play with them. If they're making their threes, forget about it. You can't do it.
Can we highlight the Jalen Williams story a little bit? I mean, this is a guy who went to Santa Clara, and he's been developed by the Thunder. And it does feel when Jalen Williams plays at his best, this is when you go, okay, that's a historic Thunder team. No one can hang with them. He has moments where he's down, but when he's on, he's like unstoppable for them. What do you like about Jalen Williams and how the Thunder have deployed him over the years?
Love him. And if you look at the isolation stats, I didn't look at it much this year. I know last year he was right up there with points per possession and isolation. So to have two guys, and we always talk about how important this is in the playoffs. And I love, to Patrick's point about how different ways of winning, I love in these playoffs, man, it feels like these games are so closely contested. It feels like your ability to get to that 15-footer and like buoy yourself. Siakam's doing it for Indiana. Nembhard hits these 17-foot step backs. Like they keep you afloat. They're like oxygen. So it's like I love, and Jalen Williams does that for when SGA has to get off the ball. Jalen Williams he's so forceful. He reminds me of Kawhi Leonard in that way, where he's not going to blow by you with his first step, but it's his last step. His last step of separation. That's what Kawhi does. He might get like a teeny tiny step on you with his first one, but go watch Kawhi's last step. He gets his shoulder into you, he gets his hip into you, and he gets 2 feet of space for that elbow jumper at will. And that's what Jalen Williams can do. It almost renders defense irrelevant, because even if you chest up and stay in front of him on his first step, his last step is going to separate. So to have two guys like that can create individual offense, even because Indiana broke them down in Game 4. If you like, the movement stopped, the passing stopped. SGA had 0 assists. They had 12 assists as a team. Nobody was moving the ball. But even in a dire situation like that, SGA and Jalen Williams can go out and just play one-on-one, and that's vital. Like, you have to have that for these nights that you're shooting and your ball movement disappears. So Jalen Williams, he's like the number 2 on OKC, but he would be the best individual scorer on a lot of teams. Love him.
So before we say goodbye, Brad Botkin, of course, CBS Sports, must read over there at CBS. So the big guy's beard is going to be safe. I think we all agree. I would genuinely be shocked if Oklahoma City lost tonight. Would you?
No, I can't say that. I feel like I should be, but no. I mean, fool me once, fool me 7 times. If the Pacers keep, no, I wouldn't be shocked. I really wouldn't. But yeah, every instinct in me, from not just watching the NBA, but just being in sports, watching sports, playing sports my whole life, there's a general momentum that goes with this stuff that you can typically rely on. And it's like out the window right now. I don't know what the hell is going to happen. There was no chance after the Knicks pulled off a 20-point comeback against Boston in Game 1 they were going to do it. No chance. If somebody would have asked me, what are you what are you going to do if the Knicks pull off a 20-point fourth quarter comeback in? I don't know. Jump off a bridge. There's no chance. Like, and then they do it. It's just like, come on, man. I got to stop discounting these supposedly like impossible things.
Yeah. Your beard is not safe, Dustin.
It's not.
And that's got a good beard too.
That's going to suck. Do you have really sensitive? Because I stopped shaving like at like 25 because once I shave, I can't shave for like 7 days after that. I don't know how these people shave every day.
No.
With a blade, my face would break out. I couldn't. I haven't shaved with a blade in probably 20 plus years.
About it. Well, dude, and I live in Florida, so it's like if I shave like my neck, and then the next day I go outside, it's like it's all hot and oh my god.
Oh, it's terrible. No.
And look, Brad, and the beard's doing a lot of work. It's covering a lot of face, and that's more the issue. Is we're exposing just a lot of skin and cheek area and really lack of a neck. But I'm actually not scared. I don't think it's going to happen, even though the Pacers haven't lost 2 games in a row since March 8th and 10th.
Don't kid yourself. That's what Harden's doing. You ever seen Harden without a beard? It is.
Oh, yeah. No, that's the teeth.
I was working in Arizona when he was at Arizona State, and I was interviewing one of the players on Arizona State, and I was down there, and Harden walked in, no beard, and I was like, yo, like, good thing you can ball, dude. I mean, Harden, come on now. That beard is real convenient. Real convenient.
No, you brought it up. You know what it is? I forgot. That's the one thing that I hate the most about being clean shaven. You see how big my teeth really are. That's a problem.
Hey,
what used to remind me is the guy that when he would shave would look the most different than he did. Dude, when Andrew Luck used to get rid of like the neck beard and stuff, it was like
weird.
It was like, dude, Andrew, grow the beard back, buddy. Oh my god.
Where would you like to see Durant end up?
Golden State, man, come on, but he's not gonna.
No, he doesn't want to go back.
Let's get the Spurs going. Let's quit tinkering around with like how good Wembanyama. Let's like really see next year. I don't have the patience to wait like 4 years for Wembanyama. Let's get him to OKC or to San Antonio and like let's party. That would be a cool outcome to me.
It'd be great. It'd be exciting, no doubt. All right, Brad, enjoy the basketball. Brad Botkin, CBS Sports, been reading them for years. Done a great job. Thank you for all your help during the postseason as well. Enjoy the basketball. Keep the beard. We'll talk to you soon. Thank you.
All right. Thanks, guys.
See you, Brad.
Well, maybe a reason for you to be a tad concerned. He said not shocked. He's right, though, because this postseason, while every game hasn't been great and every series hasn't been great, certainly always in the first round you're not going to get much. The unexpected.
Yeah, I think based on the way things have gone, not just for the Pacers, but the entire postseason, I would be concerned if the Pacers are leading going into the second half. I'll be scared if they're down 15 because that means they're doing exactly what they want with Oklahoma City and lulling them to sleep for another massive comeback.
I'm turning on. I haven't had the TV on because I haven't needed to, and I'm just turning it on. See if they have a countdown clock.
They're in a commercial.
Oh, they're in commercial.
I think we're about 5 away.
What's the book saying for tip time?
The book says 5:35 our time, 8:35 East, so we're about 5 minutes away.
All right, we can get some last-minute predictions in if you'd like. 888-623-3646. What do the Pacers need to do to shut me and the big guy up and shave the big guy's face? The babyface assassin will be back if the Pacers win tonight. It's VSiN Live, Mad Dog Sports Radio.
This is VSiN Live on Mad Dog Sports Radio with Patrick Meagher and Dustin Swedelson. covering the spread all night long. This is VSiN Live on Mad Dog Sports Radio. Here's Patrick Meagher and Dustin Swedelson.
All right, so the big guy's beard bet is on. Pacers win tonight. Bye-bye, big guy's beard, as we welcome you back. And I'm not trying to give you nightmares, but this is per Evan Abrams, who does a great job with the stats. The Pacers are 5-0 ATS coming off a loss in this postseason, covering by an average of 17.6 points per. And they're obviously big dogs tonight as the players are being introduced in Oklahoma City.
Hey, the Pacers can cover the number. They just can't win the game outright. That's the deal. The Pacers can cover 9. I just need Oklahoma City to walk away with a W, which feels inevitable.
I thought we said beard comes off if the Thunder don't cover 9.
Oh, I thought it was if the Thunder.
No. I'm messing with you.
No, I'm getting nervous. Now I'm getting nervous.
I wouldn't do that to you.
No, there's no world. Like, you can talk about the multiverse. You can talk about these different timelines that we all could be on. There isn't a timeline that exists where the Pacers win Game 5. There just isn't.
Ooh, people get bitter. People get upset. Naptown, stand up. Pacers. I literally said, I think I still would have probably bet Thunder if they went down 3-1. So if they lost Friday night, and some of this probably has to do with pride, if we're just being completely honest. I've dug in. Now, it's a Pacers show. Big announcement last week. It's a Pacers show, but I just believe that the Thunder were the better team and superior to anybody. I think I still would have bet them at plus money if they went down 3-1. But, yeah, I'm with you. Tonight, it could be ugly. By the way, the double result tonight, meaning you pick a halftime leader and a full game winner. The Thunder to lead at the break and the Thunder to win full game, you still have to lay minus 200.
Yeah, I mean, that tells you everything. And by the way, they're showing on the broadcast the player introductions. This was a big thing that they shamed them into doing, I guess, on the internet. Another thing is the NBA Finals logo is going to be on the floor. I think there's no way. When we talk about momentum in sports, Oklahoma City finding a way to win and make this 2-2, we went from believing the Pacers would then lose this game and then they have a 50-50 chance of winning the next 2, Game 6 or 7, had they finished the job in Game 4. Now the momentum swung the other way, where Oklahoma City's winning this one and they're winning the next one. They're going to send the Pacers home. That's how crazy the flip was.
Wait, what happened? I like player introductions. I'm enjoying watching this. What happened?
They hadn't been showing them. They'd come back from break and they'd be like, all right, we're about to tip off here, and the guys would be taking their warm-ups off. I'm for this, but the internet, it's just proof that if you bully people enough on social media, sometimes you get what you want. And in this case, we're getting player introductions.
And the Oklahoma City Thunder crowd has done a cool thing where they usually have the full whiteout.
Oh, yeah.
But today they've handed out white for one huge section, and then the Thunder blue for the section over, and then the white for and so it's very coordinated. These smaller towns get very involved in the T-shirt situation. Like, you can't do this. Miami, it's like, yeah, you'll have a bunch of people with the whiteout, but there'll be plenty of people that just want to stunt because they've got a Lambo.
Oh, yeah, and they've got a post on Instagram to make. Yeah. No, exactly. Oklahoma, I'm telling you, Oklahoma City, of like all the arenas I could go to watch a game, it feels like a college vibe. The small town aspect appeals to me. It feels like they care more about the Thunder than most other fan bases care about whatever team's in their town, because, by the way, they're the only pro sports team. So I would want to go there and watch a game.
To give credit, Indiana feels the same way. That field house, when they built the field house, they built it purposely smaller, almost like to replicate a college vibe. And the atmosphere in Indianapolis was great, too.
I'm going to be straight up with you. I've never been to Indianapolis, and it's like a city that hosts conventions and events, and everyone who goes there, all they do is come back and be like, that's the best city to host big events. That's all they talk about with Indianapolis.
Yeah, because I guess they have that skywalk.
Yeah, the tunnel or whatever.
City.
Yeah.
Because it gets cold. It gets cold.
No doubt.
Oh, a smattering of, you see some yellow in the mix.
Oh.
Yes, sirs. So the Pacers, we're about to get underway
see it.
here. Yeah, you can actually, it pops on TV, that yellow.
Good seats. They paid a lot of money for those seats. Good seats. The vibe. This looks like a vibe, this game right now.
It does look like a vibe. It does. Cool camera angle there, too. We're just about to get underway. Game 5, of course, here at VSiN Live, Mad Dog Sports Radio. We'll keep you updated. No need to turn the game on. We'll be doing plenty of in-game betting with the line shifts, and we'll let you know what's happening here. Go ahead.
To be clear, I know we bet my beard that the Thunder win. I want to be wrong. I want a 7-game series. I think it's been fun. I just don't see it happening. Miles Turner.
Well, we can get it. We can get it if you get the Game 6 win in Indy for the Pacers. As Turner opens with
gun shy. He's gun shy on the threes.
He
thought twice. He's in his own head now. I don't know if he's playable. I think they need to put Thomas Bryant in more. I don't know if Miles Turner's
Thomas Bryant has been relegated to DNP.
No, or maybe play Siakam at the 5. But Miles Turner is a 6'11", just body out there. He's useless.
He has. I don't know if there's a player in the NBA. Hartenstein opens the scoring with a dunk as he starts another game for OKC. His minutes haven't been great, if we're being honest. I did like him early in the series. Miles Turner, has there ever been a player more involved? He's the longest tenured Pacer.
Yeah.
It's not even close. Every single season, it feels like he's involved in potential trade talks.
Oh, he was supposed to be a Laker like 4 times now. He's definitely been like this close to being traded to the Lakers, according to reports. And he loves it there. So credit to him. But if you're a 6'11" center and you want to shoot threes all day, you're no good to me. I'm sorry. I need some rebounds, dude. Who else is grabbing rebounds if you're standing there at the top of the key?
Your boy Cat.
Yeah, exactly.
Same.
Also, Nembhard hit a nice little jumper in the lane. I think Nembhard's one of those dudes that I'm falling in love with in this series. I love his game.
Every time I watch Siakam, I'm like, what's that dude up in Toronto doing? Ujiri? I know he won a championship because of Kawhi, but Siakam can play for me any freaking day.
Every time I watch Siakam, you know what I think? Why are you not a top 10 player in the league? Like there's moments where he'll take over spurts in a contest where you're like, that's one of the best players on the planet. Like he
just hit a 3 as we were talking about it.
Yeah, you got a block the other way. I think maybe it was a foul, but he has the ability. Now he's a little bit older. He's right. He's 29, I think, maybe older than that. But Siakam is a dude who has these like a 5-minute stretch where he's unstoppable, and then he disappears.
Pacers show. Good start for the Pacers.
Are we?
We are. Remember announcement last week?
Yeah, I know, but I want them to lose tonight, so it's very confusing.
Well, I actually. If you're just joining, the big guy is going to shave the beard if the Pacers win tonight. I know how much the beard means to you. You think I'm always against you? I'm actually nervous for you. I don't.
No, it's a lot
because I kind of really. I did the thing that is not good to you. I brought it up on the air, and when you're pressed on the air, you don't. You that's one of those things where you won't back down. You don't want to embarrass yourself, so you say, I'll do it.
Well, and I wanted to come up with something that mattered. Instead of pretending I cared about something else and to put that on the line, I unfortunately brought up something that actually means anything to me, which is my beard, which protects me, which, I mean, look, a beard is like makeup, right? Women wear makeup. The beard, we grow it. It's our version of makeup for men, and I'm going to have to go bare-skinned if the Pacers somehow win this game.
And you've got a big wedding with your boo, so you're going to be meeting a bunch of new people beardless.
Oh, no. It's
dicey proposition.
No. It's my friend's wedding. She's meeting new people. But either way, they won't recognize me.
Oh, I didn't know you had a friend.
Yeah, other than you, there's only 2 of them.
And one of them's getting married, brother.
Yeah.
That's not fair. That's not fair. The big guy has... Everybody wants to be the big guy. He just doesn't really have many of them. Like in Vegas, you got a lot of friends.
I have trouble. Yeah, no, I have trouble with like the getting close to people thing. It just, I think about the energy I'm going to have to expend to maintain the friendship. And I'm like, I don't know if this is worth it. No
Yeah,
offense to the person. Has nothing to do with the person. It has to do with me and the effort that I want to give.
I mean, people can be annoying. Let's be honest. I know I can.
No, it's true.
13-12, 8:40 to play. Oklahoma City up 1, series tied at 2. So we'll come back, get you the adjusted price. And coming up at the top of the hour, we do have to discuss this Devers trade is causing a lot of waves in baseball. Like, people are up in arms about Rafael Devers being traded to the Giants. We'll discuss that. And also, you're getting Ohtani's first start on the bump tonight for the Dodgers. It's VSiN Live. It's Mad Dog Sports Radio.
With Patrick Meagher and Dustin Swedelson. Sweat your bets with VSiN Live on Mad Dog Sports Radio. Here's Patrick Meagher and Dustin Swedelson.
Nia Hardman's favorite time of the week is, of course, producing from New York City, VSiN Live. What did she learn today so far during the breaks? Where the big guy continues the program, that he is locked in on light joggers.
Oh. What a revelation.
Game changer. His life has changed. By the way, OKC up 17-12. The Pacers took a timeout. 7:34 to play in the first. But a game-changing situation for the big guy. He went on old Amazon, and Jeff Bezos brought him some light joggers. You know, like with the scrunched up thing at the bottom. And then he just says, my life is changed.
Let's see. Can I get my leg up?
Yeah, you look good. You look good with those stubby-ass legs.
Look, it's like the old like swishy pants from back in the day combined with the Under Armour dry fit. If they had a baby and created pants, it would be these pants. And as someone who sweats a lot, who lives in the desert where it was 108 degrees on my drive in today, I can tell you that these pants are a revelation for me.
Big guy broadcasting from the beautiful SiriusXM studios at the Win as we welcome you back. An 8-0 run for the Thunder over the past minute 56. SGA had a great bucket at the basket just a second ago. Carlisle is freaking incensed. He is heated. Maybe he was lying that he likes the officiating because he's about to murder an official.
No,
because
that's
Nembhard,
what you do.
I don't know what they're crying about. Dort did nothing. And
he's losing his mind.
Carlisle just got teed up.
Damn. Oh, Dort got out of the way.
That's what I don't understand. What are they complaining about?
He fell over his 2 feet. And by the way, Carlisle had a horrible angle at that if he thinks that was a foul. That was 100% not a foul, and that's where Dort's like two steps ahead of Nembhard.
Yeah, I don't know what he's bitching
Here
about.
come the turnovers. Here they come.
And there's a forced turnover from the Thunder, who are so freaking active. There's a turnover, which is going to turn into, if it's a Caruso bucket, well, I need over 10 and a half. Yeah, let's go. 22-12. The Beard so far is safe. 22-12, Oklahoma City, 11-0 run.
If the Thunder do win this series, there's a story to be told about Alex Caruso being the second best player on an NBA Finals champion in the finals. He has been amazing off that bench, not just the defense, critical shots when they needed it. He's contributed with the boards at times, assists, keeping the ball flow going. Caruso has been so good for the Thunder this series.
You're like the VSiN Live Alex Caruso. It's like, do we really appreciate the guy enough?
Oh, I thought you meant someone's got to tell him to just shave his head already. That's what I thought you were going there, because Caruso was hanging on the little peach fuzz for a long time.
Oh, and he did the old hockey trick too, where he's like, I'm going bald. Let me throw a headband on. Nobody will notice.
Throw you off the scent a little bit. You won't notice I'm going bald because there's a piece of fabric going across my forehead.
This'll fix it.
Hey, he could play though. This roster is stupid. Yeah.
Well, here's the thing about Caruso. Like, in real time, people were like, this trade makes sense for everybody. Caruso to Oklahoma City, and Giddey, who's a very young kid, obviously had to, with a lot going on, he had to get out of Oklahoma City. No. Keep Caruso. Caruso will be valuable for you regardless.
And he was just about to posterize Miles Turner, but he banged it off the rim on the dunk. And Caruso's a cool story because he had to earn it. He had to grind in the G League for the Lakers, eventually gets a chance on those Lakers squads where they were dealing with a ton of injuries, and all of a sudden it was like, oh, this random guy who I think went to Texas A&M, he can play a little bit. And he's carved out a niche in the NBA.
There's another almost forced turnover. Obi Toppin goes... The hands are so active on the perimeter for Oklahoma City, so they poked the ball out, then Toppin went over and back. So another turnover for the Pacers. Caruso, 31, just turned 31 in February. He did go to A&M. He's just there's a couple of players in this series for Oklahoma City that feel indispensable. Obviously, you start with your big three with SGA, Jalen Williams, and then Holmgren. But I think Dort and Caruso, my goodness.
I think Holmgren's indispensable. Or dispensable. I think you could deal Holmgren and you could still be an awesome team. If dealing Holmgren meant keeping all the other pieces in place, I do think the Thunder are still a top team in the West.
They just have so much lineup flexibility and diversity. Because even Hartenstein, who just had a nice little start to this game, I literally cannot say his name without flipping it each time. Hartenstein. I just literally say the different one every single time. But the lineup flexibility is insane for Oklahoma City. And to be fair, Indiana, a deep team too.
Well, Indiana's roster is a master course of just how you put together a team that wins in today's NBA, the constant flexibility, no one's safe, making deals for guys like Halliburton, trading for Siakam the way they did. They really didn't give up much for him. And all the bench pieces. They've drafted really well. Signing McConnell off the bench was a massive move. But for Hartenstein for the Thunder, the reason why that addition was so big is if you go back and look at how they played a year ago, they got killed on the glass. They got beat by any team that had a legit big man, and he immediately came in and filled that void. And once that was gone, no one knew of a weakness to attack this defense.
The big guy. Big guy attacking this Monday program.
Oh.
You're kind of flying today. What'd you do pre-show? Because sometimes balancing what you eat, what you drink can have an impact. Today feels like thinking clearly.
8 light today. Light had a cold brew right before the show. We're about an hour before the show. That helps. Might have been a mistake, though. I'm doing cashing out on VSiN after this, and maybe should have saved the caffeine for later on in the night. We'll find out if that was a mistake.
I was unaware. I would have been teasing more. We still have an hour to tease it. You'll be hosting cashing out over at VSiN after the program? Yes, 3 hours?
We will. Yes, sir. 8 to 11 Pacific. So what is that? 11, 12, 1 to nope. 8, 11 to 2. 11 to 2 Eastern. Time zones, man. Time zones.
Nailed it. All right. And you got the duds. You got the gear picked out. Last time you said your girlfriend not happy with how loud your suit was. I didn't show
you what I wore last time. I'm wearing I'm wearing my purple. No, I love the blazer I wore last time. I'm gonna find it and send it to you.
All right.
We're going purple with baby blue.
Good.
Today. That's the look for today. I know you were concerned.
Yep. Nope. Let's get a live number. 23-15. Oklahoma City jumped out to an early lead. A lot of scoring going on because there's still 4:34 to go here in the first. As Oklahoma, it seems like the Pacers. There's Caruso. Oh, Caruso! I need that for the over 10.5. It missed an easy bucket at the rack. Feels like with TJ McConnell in, that's kind of how they've settled down, they being the Pacers, and there's Caruso. It just got blocked at the rim again. I'm screwed.
Oh. No, because they need him. They need his buckets off the bench with the second unit. They're doing this thing now where they're resting SGA end of the first quarter into the second quarter. So Caruso's going to get a run here. So you have a chance. Market, by the way, just moved. Thunder now laying 11.5. In-game total 225.5.
All right, and the big guy, as promised, did send over the picture. Hey, that's pretty sharp with the blazer you're wearing there with the checkers. That's pretty busy for me, but looks good. Looks good.
Yeah, I'll send you why it might have been a mistake.
Do we have our Luka Doncic trade in Major League Baseball? One official says so. We'll discuss it. Coming back, VSiN Live, Mad Dog Sports Radio.
Covering the spread all night long. This is VSiN Live on Mad Dog Sports Radio. Now back to VSiN Live on Mad Dog Sports Radio with Patrick Meagher and Dustin Swedelson.
Okay, VSiN Live, Mad Dog Sports Radio, Hour 3. And VSiN right now for Mad Dog Sports Radio listeners and SiriusXM listeners, $158. VSiN's now on channel 158. You can become a VSiN Pro. Get everything, the picks, the free picks, all of it for $1.58, which is essentially free because it's $1.58. You can do that. VSiN.com/subscribe. Use the promo code SIRIUS as we got you back. Second youngest average age entering the finals. The 77 Trailblazers were 1. The Thunder are 2. I guess I was misled. 25.6 average age for the Thunder. 24.9 77 Trailblazers. As we do welcome you back. We've got plenty to do here in the third hour. Just quickly update you. Indiana, got to give them credit, settled in a little bit here. And it's 23-17 after an 11-0 run from the Thunder. The Pacers showing some bounce back here, big guy.
Oh, now Benedict Mathurin wants to hit free throws. Where were those on Friday night to put the game away? Him missing 3 free throws in the fourth quarter the way he did, I mean, that was the ball game. That everything slipped away with him missing those shots. Absolutely brutal. Looking at the betting market right now, 26-17 is your score. Thunder laying 12.5. Totals up to 227.5. I'd go under. These teams keep playing unders, and in game they start pacing higher, but at some point it slows up. I think that will happen again tonight.
All right, let's get into a few things that went down over the weekend. We'll keep you updated on the game. Just 3:30 to go in the first. I'm excited about this game. And we got another great one tomorrow night. Will the Panthers hoist Lord Stanley on their home ice? The assumption is yes, they're going to be big-time favorites in the game tomorrow night, Game 6. Can Edmonton force it? Edmonton pulled off the miraculous in Game 4, where down in Florida, we're down 3-0, came back 3-3, and then went up 4-3, and then Florida ties it up 4-4, go to overtime, a winner for the Oilers. So we need that magic from the Oilers tomorrow to force a Game 7.
Yeah, but we also may need to send out an SOS. Where's the best player in the world? Where's Connor McDavid? Where are those plays?
Oh, you're hating.
Look, I want this to go 7. I thought Florida was the better team, but I wanted Edmonton to win. Apologies to Stuart Skinner. Apparently, I don't know hockey at all because these goals are not his fault. They were not Pickard's fault. I don't think the Oilers play a lick of defense, and I think it's being exposed against a team as deep as Florida right now. But where was the sense of urgency? Going back to your own building and to come out the way they did, to get out-energied by the Panthers who were on the road with that short travel, I just didn't see that coming. If the Oilers were going to make it a series, I thought it would have been that game. I don't completely count them out, but I don't think they're as good as they were a year ago.
What's poppin' Obi toppin' with a dunk?
10-point game?
Hey, your boy Bryant. No, that's Bradley. I thought Thomas Bryant was in there. We got a 4-point game, people. The Beard is in trouble all of a sudden. The big guy, if you missed it, the big guy is shaving tomorrow if the Pacers were to win tonight.
It's a 10-point game.
Okay, 29-19. Yes, correct.
10-point game. We're okay.
Did they just
okay.
Oh, they called off the Obi Toppin dunk, a foul off ball against Hartenstein. Stein. All right.
And Oklahoma City, 7 points off turnovers, just 1 for the Pacers.
Elsewhere, I told you in Happy Father's Day to the dads paying attention. We appreciate you. And I guess it was it yesterday or early this week? It was yesterday. Rafael Devers was traded to the Giants. And there's a lot to unpack with Boston moving on from Devers. And I know you have takes on a macro level, but the timing of the move, which required Devers to deplane the team's West Coast-bound charter, was a stunner around the industry. There are rumors that Devers had issues with like a front office person with the Red Sox, and they were like, yeah, they couldn't coexist, which is weird. We know the Devers situation, his reluctance to move position. He was defiant before the season started. But here are some reactions to Rafael. And could you pull up his stats? Because I'm curious as to why people are so. Here's one National League exec. I'm shocked. I thought it would be this offseason or even at the deadline, not in mid-June on the heels of a Yankees sweep. Another American League evaluator said, quote, "We got our Luka Doncic trade. It should have happened in spring training, but no one saw it coming now. Our group chat was blowing up." Obviously, he wasn't alone. The entire baseball world was buzzing once the news broke as people freaking out over Devers being moved to the Giants. How's Devers performed this year?
Well, remember, he got off to that horrible start. He went hitless through like the first few games of the season. He's still hitting .272. He's got a .905 OPS, 15 homers, 58 RBI, 47 runs in 73 games. That is, look, I know there's issues about the defense. I know he's not a great third baseman. If you have a bat in that lineup that like Devers is hitting right now, you're a team that can compete with anyone. He is a game-changing left-handed bat. And by the way, he's younger than people think. He's still 28 years old.
And now he's a Giant. So before you get to your big take on baseball being screwed because of something like this happening, what was your take on the trade itself?
He couldn't. Yeah. So first, it was. I blame the Red Sox for a lot of this, and it's the shift of who's running the team. They went from Chaim Bloom to Craig Breslow as the GM, and it feels like they want to be the victims here because Devers didn't want to play their game, and now they're trying to play that role, but they created this whole mess. That's one. Two,
real quick, 10-point lead at the end of the first. Oklahoma City up 32-22. As we go to the first break. Go ahead.
Two, for the Giants, I love the move. Now, they're on the hook for a lot of money. I mean, we're talking this guy signed a $313 million deal through 2023, through 2033. But he fits that stadium well. A lot of home runs that wouldn't have been home runs at Fenway are going to be in McCovey Cove now. He's a legit middle-of-the-order guy that the Giants really needed a true power bat. And remember, they tried to get Aaron Judge a couple off seasons ago, and they just got outbid by the Yankees at the last minute. But they were this close to paying for Judge. They now get that power bat that they've desperately needed, whereas a lot of that lineup's been okay, overperforming, but they needed punch, they needed power. And I think this makes them a scary team with the way that they can pitch. And they gave up nothing. They didn't give up anything of note that they should be concerned about off their roster. Kyle Harrison's probably a third starter at best in his career. Jordan Hicks, the contract was bad. He has a live arm. They tried to make him a starter. He's really a reliever. They gave up nothing, and they're getting a top 10 hitter in baseball.
The Thunder first quarter assists, 10. Thunder first quarter three-pointers, 4. That doesn't bode well for the Pacers. Also, the Pacers used 10 players in the first quarter, as obviously they're trying to deal with that OKC energy and size with the bigger starting lineup. So that's a couple things on the basketball. 10-point lead. First quarter is toast in Oklahoma City. Back to the Devers trade. I don't know if it's a Cora thing. You mentioned the ownership group with Boston. And remember, Henry owns Liverpool as well. They put a lot of resources into Liverpool. There are just odd vibes surrounding the Red Sox over the past few years, you would admit.
Yeah, and it feels like they're taking what was, I think you can make a case, the best fan base in all of baseball, if not all of sports at one point, very recently, and they're making them apathetic. They're making them not care. And I don't know if it's because they've won 3 titles.
I think that's a little bit of it. I think the Red Sox juice after the curse and then a couple more championships, you would agree, I think a little bit of that fandom waned and it became, again, a Patriot town.
Yeah, but had they been consistently winning and not fluctuating with the payroll and trying to save money, I do think that the fan base would consistently be there. I mean, there's always like the attrition of just like taking that for granted. But I would make the case the Boston Red Sox should never have to make decisions based on money. Like maybe there's 4 or 5 other teams, right? The Mets, the Yankees, the Dodgers, the Cubs, the Giants, and the Red Sox. To me, those are teams that should never have to make decisions to quote unquote save money. They should always be going for it. And the Red Sox, by the way, are a half game out of a wild card, and they just traded their best player and got next to nothing back in return. I just think it sends a really bad message to the sport.
All right, so speaking of the sport, Now, we did start with a positive when it comes to Major League Baseball, and that is over the weekend, there were record attendance numbers, like the most over a weekend in 17 years for Major League Baseball. What we do know about baseball when talking about, obviously nationally, it has become secondhand. However, it's a very local and regional sport. Like if you go home to my mom's in Michigan, she's tuning into Benintendi. She's tuning into every Tiger game on their local, and they love the broadcasters, all that kind of stuff. It is provincial. Baseball is. But you believe the Devers trade is indicative of something bigger that's wrong with the sport? In what regard?
Yeah, so I mentioned all the markets that I believe shouldn't operate how these smaller markets do, which is worried about their bottom line. And the Red Sox made a statement that they're not in the business of baseball. They're in the business of business. They wanted to get out of the Devers contract, and they created this whole situation by signing Alex Bregman in the offseason, 3 years, $120 million. They forced the situation. They made their best player unhappy. They didn't go to him ahead of time to see if he wanted or was willing to move positions after the ownership made a commitment to him a few years ago with a 10-year, $313 million deal. So now, new front office in place, and they're going up against their best player out of the gate in spring training. And I understand this. The Red Sox are seeing the future of baseball. These teams don't want to give out long-term deals. They want to do shorter-term deals. They'll give up more money because they care about the bottom line. They care about the payroll. But this is the Boston Red Sox now operating as if they're a small market team. And I think it's partially because Craig Breslow came in, the GM, and was like, I didn't sign him to that deal. I don't want that on my track record to hold me back from doing what I want to do with the Boston Red Sox. So he made it a point to make Devers unhappy and ship him to San Francisco. That's part one.
All right.
Part two is the thing that I don't like is the Boston Red Sox payroll went from 11th to 19th after this trade. The Boston Red Sox should never have a payroll rank that low. They're 9th in attendance this year. Last year, they were 12th in payroll, 11th in attendance. 2023, 13th in payroll, 12th in attendance. Now, the last time they made the playoffs, 2022, they lost in the ALCS. They were sixth in payroll, 10th in attendance. And there's a direct correlation with how they're doing and how many people are going to these games. That's a fairly obvious thing. You want to make more money, put out a good product. That's consistently happened over the years with them. But I don't like the message this sends to the in-between teams because now they can say, look, we don't have to spend. The Boston Red Sox are thinking about their bottom line. They're thinking about how much a player costs, and that hurts the overall game. That hurts the star players getting paid, and I don't like that for the league. And to me, I think you're also limiting that Boston fan base because now you're telling them you're no longer to do whatever it takes to win a World Series. They're operating efficiently. I think they're doing what's best for the Boston Red Sox, but that doesn't mean it's what's best for baseball. And I think baseball long-term has issues where other teams are going to follow suit here. And it's just bad for the sport because they just swept their rivals and they sold the best player on their team for pennies on the dollar. I just think it's a bad overall look for the sport.
I hear you, brother. I'm just looking. Hold on. 1 through 30. Let's just look at the payroll. Now you got me curious. Obviously, the Dodgers are 1. The Dodgers, in between, I don't know, upwards of $375 million spent on payroll. Dodgers 1. Your Mets 2. The Phillies are your third highest payroll in baseball. The Yankees. So now this is all making sense, and adds credence to your argument. The Yankees 4. The Toronto Blue Jays are 5. Interestingly, a small market, San Diego Padres 6 in payroll. Now the Red Sox were 7. I've got the Red Sox 7, and you said they've dropped out of the top 10.
Yeah, I'm looking every difference. Well, no, that's opening day. Okay. After the trade, they dropped to 19th.
And then Houston 8, Atlanta 9, Chicago Cubs 10. So that all of that made a lot of sense. Let me just go down to the bottom. The Miami Marlins are 30. The White Sox are 29. The White Sox should not be 29th. That's why they're selling the team.
Yes.
Reinsdorf is selling it to the brother of the Suns owner, Ishbia. The Rays are 28th, and the Rays continue to win. The A's are 27. The Nats are 26. Here's a disaster. Cleveland Guardians cannot be 25th in payroll. That's a joke.
They don't spend it
Although
all.
the Tigers are 23rd in payroll and best team in the AL.
Well, that's about to change because they're going to have some guys they're going to have to pay in the next couple years. Skubal, Torkelson, like they got dudes.
They got dudes. 38-29, 8:27 to play. Oklahoma City. Here's what Oklahoma City has done, which is crazy. They've opened up, let me just give you the number, 6 of 10 from 3. So they had 3 made three-pointers in Game 4. They've got 6 just underway in the second in game. If they hit threes, Indiana, your beard is safe. They cannot win.
Yeah. But when we're looking at these teams, when we're comparing the payrolls, the problem with Boston doing this is they have unlimited money. There is no salary cap. And they need to push the envelope for the sport to advance, for more teams to be able to spend on players. We have more than half the league pretty much will not re-sign a star player on their team because they either don't have the money or they don't believe it hits their bottom line. The Red Sox are not one of those teams. They're doing things that other teams have to do to exist, and now they're a half game out of the wild card, and now they're going to go into a rebuild, building around these young kids they've called up this year. The whole point's to win, to try to win baseball games.
You know, they probably, if you think about them too, maybe everybody does recognize this, but they're not Boston. They're New England, Maine, and New Hampshire.
Yeah.
Like all of that area. Like you go to Kennebunkport, Maine, which I've been. It is. It may as well be downtown Boston, how Red Sox focused they are. So that is a huge region. No reason not to spend cash. I agree. And no reason to be unloading payroll.
Yeah, but what they did was they said, we value Alex Bregman. I'm sure their analytics department said he plays great defense. We don't have to do as long of a contract. They brought him in, and they disrupted what they had in the clubhouse. And the question now is, are they going to trade Jarren Duran in center field, who's been an all-star now before? Are they going to unload everyone on that team and go full rebuild? You literally are good enough to make the playoffs this year. People saw you as a contender. You just swept the Yankees, which are in your division. They're your rival. You had a chance to compete and be competitive. This just tells me you're not willing to compete, to like pack it in and play for next year or the year after when you had an opportunity in front of you. We have so much of the Major League Baseball teams that are irrelevant already in June, and the Boston Red Sox made a conscious decision to be irrelevant from here on out.
Well, it's a good breakdown, big guy. Red Sox Devers shipped to the Giants. It's funny, too. I give the Giants credit. You mentioned they just took on a huge contract, and they're in a brutal division. They're still fighting. They did lose 2-3 to the Dodgers over the weekend. The Dodgers are banged up, and it doesn't matter. The Dodgers, by the way, tonight are going to start Ohtani in it's under an hour now, 50 minutes on the bump against the Friars, the Padres rivalry. And as another aside, as far as baseball, and you can break out your diamond dish now if you'd like, the Judge stats, now his average is taking a dip, but we're going to start recognizing, if this continues, it as one of the great seasons in the history of Major League Baseball. He's batting, how many games are we in now? We're past Father's Day. So this
almost 60.
So we're 60 games in. Judge is batting 378. 70 games in. Judge is batting 378, 26 bombs, 60 RBIs, and I think he's got 100 hits on the year so far.
He's got 99. You're right. He's hitting 378. And like when we were younger, it felt like the only people legitimately flirting with 400 at this point in the year was Tony Gwynn and Todd Helton, who was playing in Colorado, so that was a cheat code, right? Most guys don't mess around with 400. The question I have is, when did teams just start pitching around him? When does he start getting the Barry Bonds treatment? Because if we're going to go back the last few years, it is only like in our era comparable, especially post-steroid, to like Barry Bonds and what he was doing. That's how good he's been. He's going to hit 60 homers again. He hit 58 the year before. He was injured in 23 and still hit 37. The year before hit 62. It's one of the great 4 or 5 year runs we've ever seen.
And late bloomer. He's 33.
He was drafted. Dude, he played in the Mountain West. Think about that in college.
Where do you go to
How
college?
does Fresno State?
California State to Fresno. Yeah, you're right.
Like, how does that guy end up in the Mountain? No offense to the Mountain West, but he's potentially the best hitter of his era, and he didn't get a Pac-12, an SEC, ACC offer.
Judge is one of those people as well. Athletes are crazy. Like, if you just go into an NBA locker room and you just think to yourself, like, how are humans? It's like, it's insane. You just the size and just absolute just physicality is wild. Judge is that person if you see him in person.
Yeah.
Maybe it was last year I got tickets for Dodgers Yankees out in right field, so I was sitting right behind Judge. Judge is one of the biggest humans I've ever seen.
Well, and then you watch him move,
He's
and
6'7",
you're like,
282.
You're like, he like is agile. Like there's no clunkiness to the way he moves, and when he swings, it's effortless, and the pop you hear across the stadium. Real quick, back to the Devers thing. I just want to add one note. Here's the irony of the whole thing. Buster Posey, GM of the Giants, quote, "There's possibility for Devers to play third with Chapman out to get in some first and DH by all accounts. He's a winner. He wants to do what he can to help the team. It sounds like Devers is willing to play first base and DH for the Giants, but wasn't willing to do it for the Red Sox because he didn't like the way he was approached about it."
There was obviously something going on. You don't move on from this guy. You don't move on from the contract unless there was more to it than just production. And he pissed off the wrong people. Now he's going to have an opportunity with the Giants. By the way, Jalen Williams with a great drive to the bucket to go up 12. I believe it's an and one situation, so the Thunder look to extend their lead. We go to break with a 12-point lead, 44-32. Thunder over the Pacers, 7:14 to play. 8-8-6-2. Go ahead.
Minus 13.5 on OKC. The total now has dropped back down to 223.5, which is about where we closed.
All right. Let's get to the calls. 888-623-3646. Talking baseball. I agree about the payroll thing is interesting to me. Unless there's obviously got to be a bigger plan here with moving out from underneath that contract. I'll give Bregman credit. He has been banged up, but I was like, why is this moving the needle? When I asked you about his stats earlier today, I was actually surprised how well Bregman's played today for the Red Sox.
No, he's having a really good
year this year.
No, he's having a good year. But this is what teams like Houston are doing now. They're not going to give out the 5, 6, 7-year deals anymore. They're willing to pay a little bit extra, go 3, maybe 4 years. They also don't want you on their roster after 31, 32, maybe 33 years old. This is how teams are operating at this point. And I think I understand a lot of teams doing that. I just thought the Red Sox were better than that. I thought they were bigger than that, but they only care about being a business right now.
Big Guy's flying today, having one of his stronger shows now. I am a little concerned about him because he's very clear-minded. He was properly caffeinated before the show started. But then come 7 o'clock, he's got a 1-hour gap. So he leaves the beautiful SiriusXM studios at the Wynn, and then he drives downtown Fremont Street to Circa. He has to get dressed like Superman in the phone booth and go out there and grind out late into the night a 3-hour program cashing out on VSiN. Little concerned about your energy level. Little concerned.
There might be a couple of espresso shots mixed in before the next broadcast. I'd also say if this game could be exciting, that might help me fly into my first hour. So I'd be okay with the Pacers giving me a scare here with my beard.
Oh, right now it's a 12-point game, so the beard is good. Father's Day over the weekend. We should say hi to our buddy Tony and say Happy Father's Day. I mean, Tony's got so many kids he's forgot about a couple of them. Hey, Tony.
Hey, man, I got 3 kids, man. It ain't out of the ordinary.
Two sons and a younger daughter, correct?
Yeah, and the 2 sons are grown men, so they ain't even kids no more, man. So they're, but they did take me out to hit 18 holes yesterday, so that's always good.
Nice.
Spend the day on the links, with your 2 boys, and hey, life is good. Well, that's all I can say.
Happy Father's Day.
Yeah, you know what? Thank you, gentlemen. Hey, Judge did have a Pac-12 offer from Jim Harbaugh to play tight end at Stanford.
Oh, did he really?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, he
Notre Dame too.
Receiver. he was a hell of a receiver / tight end in high school. I think he had a lot of, but Harbaugh really wanted him at Stanford. I think, right around. Well, he graduated high school 09, 10.
Well, that makes sense. That he's from Linden, California, which is up in that. Okay, that makes a lot. Dude, he is a monster in person. That is a big boy.
Oh, he would have been definitely an NFL tight end. I mean, 100%.
Yeah.
And, Patrick, here's a little Detroit for you. I'm driving home, man. I got some piping hot Buddy's pizza, and I'm in a good mood. I'm coming over. And you just said something that upset me because King Joffrey, Chris Ilitch, 23rd payroll. 23rd in payroll. And you know what? Hey, I keep telling you, Scoobs, you want $400 million, Patrick. The Tigers ain't going to do it.
If they don't pay him, I'm out. I'm out.
And you know what? 120,000 last weekend for the Cubs series, 40,000 a night down there. This past weekend with the Reds in town, they lost 2 of the games. Patrick, another standing room only, 40,000 a night down at Comerica. It is, and you know what? They better do something. They better do a little something. And I tell you, man, we lost Job. And now Will Vescott left the other night, our closer. So now, last week kind of lost Job to Tommy John.
Yep, so that was big.
So hopefully, Prince King Joffrey is down there. He's not getting rid of any Starks. So hopefully.
Hey, hold on. Here's the important question. I love Buddy's Pizza. Is it better than Shields?
Shields is very good, man. But you got me there. You know what? Shields might have the edge, but I don't have one close to me. Hey, you were in Macomb County, Northern Macomb, visiting recently. That's where Northern Macomb's got a Buddies, man. So I got to go scoop it up down there, man.
Hey, happy Father's Day. Shields Pizza is, goodness gracious, is it so? And Buddy's Pizza is delicious as well. I can't front, big guy.
I feel like Detroit has gotten a lot of respect in the pizza world lately for the Detroit style, but is that something you actually grew up with?
Yeah, it's the square and the sauce on top.
I like it. I love it.
It's delicious. Oh, it's delicious.
I'm a fan because it's super buttery.
Very buttery. The crust is very buttery. You put the red sauce on top as opposed to underneath the cheese. And Shields is. When we go home, look, going out for a special meal was Outback Steakhouse when I was growing up.
Ooh, that's fancy.
We went like 5 times in my life, and when my parents said we're going to Outback, me and my sisters, it was just like legitimate pause in our tracks. Like, is there an announcement? Like, did somebody die? Like, why are we going to such a bougie restaurant?
Where your church?
But when I go home, we'll meet up at Shields, and that's what's up, big guy. Shields Pizza.
Yeah. But this is my issue with pizza.
Oh, gosh.
People do too much. No, people do too much with pizza. The optimal pizza is a plain cheese pizza. I love just plain. I don't like. I mean,
it's fine, but why wouldn't you want some toppings?
I think meat lovers.
I need some OB toppings on there.
I don't know. I think that meat lovers is the most overrated pizza on the planet. I would go cheese pizza, white pizza, which is also cheese pizza, and then I go buffalo chicken pizza.
7-0 run for the Thunder. They have a 15-point lead, 47-32. The beard is safe.
Safe.
Let's go to Indianapolis. Speaking of the Pacers, my man Chris in Indy.
Hey, how you doing?
He's not caring about his Pacers. He's calling about Aaron Judge. What's up, Chris? How are you?
Yeah, I'm doing great, man. But when I heard you say Aaron Judge is batting .378, and he's a power hitter, how's that possible?
He's crazy. And by the way, average in modern day baseball is like, a 260 average is considered good. Like, they don't hit for average like this anymore. It's crazy.
Exactly. And I was just shocked by that. Because like you said, I haven't heard that since Barry Bonds. Was Albert Pujols a power hitter also? Maybe?
Yeah, of course.
But I've never heard him flirt with 400.
Yeah, no, he is. And by the way, the 378's a dip. He was batting like 390 last week. Look at the big guy.
Oh, Thursday on the call. League batting average, the average is 245 this year.
Yeah.
Let's go back to when was he at his peak?
Well, let's just set the ground rules though. Back in when we were coming up, flirting 300 was the batting average. If you bat 300, great.
Stud.
That's now adjusted to about 285. Do you think that's fair as far as like the barometer for a great average?
Oh no, I think you might be a little high. I think like
maybe 280.
Yeah, 280s probably. Like it's embarrassing. So I'm looking at Barry Bonds' best year, the year he broke the record. He hit 328. He did hit 370 the next year. 328 was his batting average. So that was 2001. In 2001, the league average was 264. We're talking 20 points.
Yeah, that's so then we're probably on to something. 280-ish in modern day because, it's just different. They don't play for contact. They play to pull the ball out of the ballpark. And so it's just a much different approach at the plate.
Yeah.
Or
grounders
or
are
walk.
out. Yeah,
walk.
Grounders are out. It's boring. And it's killed the sport. I mean, there's no
hit a home run or walk.
Yeah,
is the new layup or three.
Oh,
you like that, big guy?
Oh no, that's true. It's you only have a couple outcomes you're going to come and see. There was someone who bunted the other day, and I think everyone on the field was thrown off.
They passed out.
Yeah.
The final half hour is going to be very intriguing because I would say the big guy has had quite a show. On top of things, just like on top of the completely focused, dialed in with that cold brew. But he's got a half hour to go here, people, with a beard, and then an hour break and 3 hours of another program. And somehow getting with his boo in between to make sure things are copacetic. He's got a lot. He's got a lot going on. He's got a lot on his plate, and it's not per usual food.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. I got a lot on my plate for once. It has nothing to do with me eating anything.
Hey, I know how it is. Relationship. You call in between, make things so you don't. You want to make sure you're going into the show copacetic in all areas.
I got to check in because
let's
be real. Show's on late. Someone might be asleep by the end of it, and ain't gonna. Well, it might be me, but hopefully it's not me.
It will be me. I will be asleep 100% 1 hour into your broadcast.
You know what? I'm glad you said that because the show does replay the final 2 hours right after on VSiN, so you can catch the replay in the morning.
Yep, I'll be up. I'm excited to watch it just to see what the big guy's wearing. What do you want to do next? You want to get into some 3-point stance, smash or pass? This or that?
I think smash or pass is better than 3-point stance today.
Smash or pass, and then also closing tabs. Your calls, 888-623-3646. Come back with this adjusted in-game number in Oklahoma City. It's VSiN Live, Mad Dog Sports Radio.
This is VSiN Live on Mad Dog Sports Radio with Patrick Meagher and Dustin Swedelson. Welcome back to VSiN Live on Mad Dog Sports Radio. Here's Patrick Meagher and Dustin Swedelson.
Yeah, we got an 18-point game. Or is that a bucket from them, Hart? It's a 16-point game, so 56-40, 2:10 to play in the second. The Beard's safe as Oklahoma City is right now whooping up on the Indiana Pacers as we welcome you back, VSiN Live, Mad Dog Sports Radio. I did hear from a regular guest on the Big Guys Cashing Out program, Rob Brender, during the break. Rob Brender, great with the hockey. Maybe joining you tonight? Yes, no?
We have a great lineup. Rob, not tonight. Maybe another time to talk a little baseball down the road. We do. Goddamn. We have my guy Arthur DeCesar from the Superbook, Greg Peterson from VSiN, and
good.
Linda Cohn is going to join me tonight.
I can't. That's good. Dude, you're the best, big guy. Linda Cohn, a legendary Sports Center anchor, hopping on with the big guy at 2 a.m.
Hey, she's awesome, and she's going to give me picks for hockey. That's all I care about. She's awesome. I appreciate her doing it. I'm very appreciative she's willing to do it.
All right, take it easy. She's not listening. Maybe she might be.
She might be.
Bad Dog Sports Radio person.
She is.
Linda Cohn's great. She is great. And she
but I thought you were going to make fun of me because she had something pop up last time, and then we went back to her again to come back on.
I do love going back to the well.
Hey, remember you said you couldn't do the other day? How's today work?
You know, one person I noticed you haven't asked to come on as a guest would be me.
I would never do that to you. I know better than to ask you to do that. Because
that's friendship.
For one, it's my opportunity to just talk without you.
Oh, that's true. That would
be
idiotic if you invited me on.
And then I know you would flip the conversation and you would control the narrative, and I wouldn't be able to manipulate you, but you would manipulate me, and I would do what you want in the chat.
No, it would be so stupid. Start off as my producer, then to invite me on. Now you're my co-host with me, but then to be like, hey, come on, and all of a sudden it just turns back into the regular show. That'd be dumb.
And then on top, let's add to the list as well. I also know you as a human being.
Yeah, I don't want to do it.
I couldn't think of anything you want to do less than join me on my show tonight when you're getting ready for bed anyway.
I'd be doing it with my footies on, jammies.
Headboard in the background.
My jammy jams. Let's get to the calls. Right now it is 56-41, so 15-point lead. We'll see if Indiana can get something going as we just a minute out from the break here in Oklahoma City. So anyway, we did say be shocked if Oklahoma City dropped this one. You feel like that fourth quarter could have been the series in Game 4 for the Pacers and the Thunder for that matter. All right, let's say hi. Hey, we haven't heard from our buddy Tony. It's nice to see Tony up. Tony in Dallas. Hey, Tony.
Hey, I wanted to go Devers, but, in 2023 when Elko and Linda Cohn was doing a lot of Mad Dog, she used to do a Sunday show right before NFL kickoff, and she's a pretty good gambler. She bets a little bit too emotionally, but she had some good picks because a lot of times I would hear her on Sunday morning, and she's obviously she.
I didn't know she bet.
She's a pretty good gambler.
I didn't know she bet.
Oh
Tony.
Yeah, she's a pretty good gambler. Yeah, she's a pretty good gambler. Yeah, she's pretty
tremendous.
Good.
Tremendous.
Hey, I wanted to go. I heard earlier, and if you want to look it up and read the transcript, I heard earlier about an hour ago the Sam Kennedy, Craig Breslow interview with the press. I got to tell you, I was telling your screener, this just adds to the whole conjecture that has gone on in the last 5, 6, 8 months in all of sports, where it just seems like a lot of ownership is starting to hold their players and their coaches accountable for jobs not done, and they're washing their hands with certain players and coaches and just moving on, and not just assuming that they're just going to pay the money just because of what they did several years ago, but it's what they're doing now. And that was clear. Sam Kennedy was saying, look, we have tried. He literally said this over the last week has gotten worse. He wouldn't play the field. They've been trying to talk to him to play the field since spring training. And I just think Devers, and David Ortiz gave the interview on The Athletic, I think Devers assumed They just signed me to a $300-some million deal, a 10-year deal. Nobody's going to take me, and they found somebody who did, and they're moving on.
So
And
basically, they said it's insubordination as to why they moved on.
They said he wasn't willing to do what the team asked him to do. And he said, AC, Cora tried in spring training. Breslow tried afterwards. The owner went out to Arizona and talked to him. Their first baseman got hurt. Now, granted, if Casas hadn't gotten hurt, I don't think they'd be in this position. But the first baseman went down for the season. Clearly, it was a hole. And also the fact that they have young players, they want to move around. So if Devers would have agreed to play first, you could maybe have Roman Anthony. You can have him DH now that they brought him up. Marcelo Meyer, some of these cats that are good and they need to see the field, and they want to move forward with this. Devers didn't want to. They found somebody to take him, and they moved on.
Tony's, you're dialed into bit. You're not a Red Sox fan. You're dialed into this organization.
Yeah, I went to school. I grew up in Northern Mass. Yeah.
Oh,
you knew that.
Yeah. Hey, you're a dad, right?
Yes, I am. Yes.
What does Tony and Dallas do for Father's Day?
Tony and Dallas on Father's Day, a lot of pool time, a lot of kickback, relax, sleeping late.
Did you get into the golf?
I tell you, I got into the golf, but I told Doggy today, I actually thought it was great that NBC put on 08 Tiger.
Me too.
I thought that was a great move. Doggy hated it, of course. He wanted the 70s Jack Nicklaus or, whatever. But he hated the move. I thought it was good, Patrick. I don't know if you got the same thing. It reminded me with golf how awesome every single golf tournament was that Tiger was in.
Oh no, it was. I loved it. It felt like it was kind of a time travel thing. It was even the way they were dressed was like old school, but I remember it like it was yesterday.
A lot of baggy clothes. I did notice that. A lot of baggy bell bottoms a little bit. But one last point, when they were saying, when they were showing him on Saturday, 55,000 people were there on Saturday. It wasn't even it didn't hit me. I was like, wait a minute, Tiger's not wearing red. And then Rocco Mediate tries to wear red on Monday, and it backfired on him. But, 55,000 people every day when Tiger's on the course. We're just never going to see that. Nobody's going to carry the game the way Tiger did.
No, never. Happy Father's Day, Tony. Thank you. And good stuff on the Red Sox. Yeah, it was and Tiger draining that putt to force the playoff was, I just remember it like it was yesterday. It was a double fist pump. Do you want to tag anything Tony said about the Red Sox stuff?
Wait,
sounds like it was insubordination completely.
Well, yeah, but I'd say the Red Sox started this. They made a commitment to him 2 off seasons ago with a 10-year deal. Then they go and sign someone who plays his position. They go, you're going to move. He goes, did anyone want to run it by the guy making $313 million over the next decade that you wanted me to move positions? Maybe this something could have been brought up before I signed that extension. The Red Sox are not victims here. They created this mess, and they're lucky that the Giants bailed them out taking the deal. I agree. It's the best move long-term for the Red Sox to not give and not be latched to a long-term deal with a player like Devers, but I still think it's bad for the sport. We need those types of players to get long-term contracts, especially from organizations that they were in. And then you go back and look, the Red Sox, a marquee organization in sports, have turned Mookie Betts, Rafael Devers, and Chris Sale into Vaughn Grissom, Alex Verdugo, Connor Wong, Jeter Downs, Jordan Hicks, and Kyle Harrison. Just dudes.
Yep. No, you're right. By the way, the difference, we're going to come back with your calls in closed tabs, but the difference right now, 59-45, Oklahoma City leads at the break. The tandem of SGA and Williams, 29 first half points. The tandem of Siakam and Halliburton, 10 combined first half points. It's VSiN Live, Mad Dog Sports Radio.
This is VSiN Live on Mad Dog Sports Radio with Patrick Meagher and Dustin Swedelson. It's time to wrap up today's show. You see what I did there? Yeah. By finishing all of the conversations we touched on today. This is Closing Tabs.
Yeah, the big guy's bailing. I'll be solo Wednesday. I think the big guy, Jacob, you're my guy. I think he took off because he heard you were in the house on Wednesday. You're going to have to text him to find out. Look at the big guys. He gets so bitter. Do we have an announcement here? This is Mike in the OC.
Hey, what's going on, man?
Hey, buddy, what's going on?
Well, thanks for letting me close tabs.
Hey,
by the way, great Father's Day barbecue, Korean barbecue, fantastic place in Fullerton, Mr. Barbecue. If you're ever down there, Patrick, fantastic.
Happy Father's Day,
Korean
Mike.
Barbecue?
You're a good dad. Happy Father's Day.
Thank you, man. I love being a dad. I had a great time. Did a little car shop. My daughter was looking for a car. Kind of did some test driving yesterday, and I like to do anything for the kids.
Yeah, you're a good.
You know what I'm talking about?
You're a good man.
Good. Angel game's incredible. 0-0 going to the 11th inning. I don't know what the hell's going on there. The Bronx Bombers are Yankee Stadium, but Christian Moore got his first career hit, so it's kind of nice. Now, here's the announcement. I will be in New York come summertime for the Bar Ray party. I'm sorry, it's Tony then. That's Tony and Dallas. We got a whole crowd together trying to go out to Chris's party at Jersey.
That's awesome.
What the hell? Yeah, I called today. I told him Mike, go. Good job on your part, Mike. You're a great guy. Nice guy. He still remembers that dinner. He still remembers that. He goes, you're a nice guy. As like Eddie said, you're like a better dinner guest than a caller, which is probably the best line of all time.
That is tremendous. Yeah, Bar A, back in the day, Mike and the Mad Dog, then Dog has continued the tradition out there at Jersey Shore. So you're going to be flying in for the party.
Hey, huh? What?
What, Mike? What will the Katz's Deli order be? What will be your Katz's Deli order?
It's so funny. You just brought that up. My son said the same thing. He goes, "Are you going to Katz's when you're there?" I'm only there for a couple of days. Going on Thursday, leaving Saturday. I'm just there for the party. So I'm gonna have to get over to Katz's.
That's a
here.
Tremendous.
The beautiful Italian had it delivered to me once on my birthday from New York. They deliver. Place is nice.
The beautiful Italian probably has a calendar on the refrigerator and puts an X through until you leave for that vacation.
She's gonna laugh at that one. Oh my God, you're absolutely right. It's only a couple of days. She ain't gonna stay longer. No, I told you. I booked a trip. What the hell, Patrick? You live once, right?
You only live once. You're a good man. Good. You're gonna hang out with Dog now. Dog's gonna see you, and then you guys are gonna have to have a one-on-one. I'm looking forward to hearing about that.
Hey, I'm looking forward to meeting Steve Torrey. I hope he's there. Never met Steve, right?
Oh well, after what you have put him through over the past couple of weeks, I don't know if he's gonna want to see you.
He turns around, tries to shake his hand, he blows me up. Steve's cool. Steve's not that kind of guy. It doesn't seem like.
No, because remember when you used to actually just crush Steve, and then you guys made up.
It was all in fun, just because I didn't know him. Steve's always been a good guy, very even keeled. He's kind of the backbone of the whole station, don't you think? I mean,
he's like you.
The hits.
He's like you, even keeled.
Yeah, pretty much. Pretty much. That's what you got to be in life, Patrick. Can't go crazy. Yeah,
I hear you, brother. Happy Father's Day. Mike in the OC making a trip out to Bar A. Dustin, I could feel the FOMO coming off Dustin's pores when he was saying that.
Well, I was just thinking we're just missing each other by a little bit. I'm going to New York this week and this weekend. I'm going to Katz's Deli. It's unfortunate. Mike's always wanted to meet up for deli, and we're just passing ships in the night.
I'm going to say right now, Mike, I'll meet you for a sandwich. You come to the South Bay, I'll meet up with you. I missed the last party, but I will. I like Mike.
I do too.
You guys need to stop killing Mike. No, Mike was on one last week about the Stephen A. Smith stuff, but that seems to have calmed down a little bit.
Yeah. I think the smoke is cleared there.
Stephen A.'s found himself in some controversy because people were killing him because he was playing solitaire at Game 4.
As if they're not on their couch doing something on their phone with the game on in the background.
I'll never understand playing games on the phone though. Like, how could you actually how could you focus on solitaire? It's just so boring.
Gonna admit something weird here. I'm 40 and I don't know the rules of solitaire.
I think you just go lower number.
I thought you matched colors and numbers.
Dude,
I thought it was something like that.
It's not my jam. I don't care about but Stephen A. Smith was passing some time. It's all good. I'm sure that'll make people happy at the network. What else is going on closing tabs?
You said earlier in the show, Indianapolis, it has a steakhouse. The name of the steakhouse is St. Elmo.
Yes, I did know that.
And do you know what they're known for?
Their horseradish sauce that you dip the shrimp in.
Yeah, the spiciest shrimp cocktail that everyone loves.
I like spicy. I'd be into it.
I'm in. By the way, shrimp cocktails. Las Vegas consumes more shrimp cocktail than like the rest of the world combined.
That's a nice little tidbit from the big guy. Yeah. Not running out of juice on his way to cashing out.
You said your mom's going to watch the Tigers broadcast all summer long. You said Benintendi. It's Benetti. Jason Benetti. Andrew Benintendi.
Right, Benintendi was a Red Sox.
Left fielder for the White Sox now, unfortunately for him. You also pulled a city out of your Kennebunkport. What did you call it?
Kennebunkport.
Kennebunkport in southern Maine. Beaches, Goose Rocks Beach, a couple other beaches, Arundel Beach. What the hell were you doing there?
And George Bush Sr., they long have lived at a house in Kennebunkport, Maine. Yep.
Aaron Judge had offers to play receiver at Notre Dame, Stanford, and UCLA.
Great job. Naya, thank you. Ryan Smith, as always, thank you for your effort. The big guy on his way. Don't forget to tune in. He's going to be on in an hour on VSiN Channel 158, cashing out 3 hours. I'll be tuning in. We'll see you tomorrow. VSiN Live, Mad Dog Sports Radio.
Covering the spread all night long. This is VSiN Live on Mad Dog Sports Radio.